Hi. I'm simply going to play the video game. That's it. Hi Romeo, welcome, welcome. I have my Ritz brand peanut butter flavored filling. Ritz peanut butter flavored filling. Only the filling, apparently. And I have 3 slices of ham. Real. And I carry within me the child of God. So, let's get started. For real, it's been a while. I took a break without telling anyone um because it was funny. Okay. I've been okay. She hates us. Yeah. Yeah. No. I've been it's Wenhera Wednesday. Uh Yesterday I was like mentally I'll do it. I have to stream. I haven't streamed in like a week. I gotta do something. And then it did not happen. And today it almost didn't happen again because I laid down and I was like, oh man, I do not receive dopamine as much as neurotypical people. Oh lord, it's affecting me so. And then I fell asleep. And then it was 4 p.m. So I was like, oh, well, I wanted to stream around this time anyway. So it's okay. What else? What else do I need to entail? Hi, Meryl. I'm okay. I just needed. I think I just needed to chill. Pun intended. I think I gave myself too much work. I expected too much of myself. But you know, when people talk about like, for example, I saw this TikTok, YouTube short thing, and it talked about like, hi Wise, welcome. Wow, thank you for this up. Fata Morgana and the slime. Yes, the rested. It's me. I did take a rest. Like, oh yeah, when I was watching a TikTok about like the lady was like productivity da 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 da, there's no such thing as laziness is just da 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 da, and people who struggle with doing things, especially folks with ADHD, they, like I said, they don't receive as much dopamine for doing small tasks like cleaning. It was a cleaning lady for just for the context. And so da 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 da, and it's because you set like these unrealistic expectations for yourself, and then you get disappointed or depressed when you don't reach them. And like, I know it's different for everyone. Okay, we're getting into it. Sit your ass down. I know it's different for everyone, but it's kind of like asshole. It's frustrating when I can only do like 2 hours of work a day. Like there's so many hours in the day, bro, and I only do like finish up one commission or like the film one thing. Homie, you good? Nah. But I'm back, kinda. I was thinking, focus. My ass literally just got off a therapy session, so the motivation talk hits. I know, it's like, do you also struggle with ADHD symptoms, bro? Like, ADHD wielders are killed by the numerous tedious tasks. Nods aggressively. Yeah. I was, when she said, like, yeah, you set unrealistic expectations for yourself. And when you think of that, you think, like, oh yeah, these people probably want to do, like, this in a day and like this and this and this and this and this and this and have a full day. My expectation is just like do 4 hours of work, but I can't do that. It's like annoying. It's kind of like what wrong with me? But hopefully I can just like give myself a little less to do, and maybe I'll be like a little more consistent with stuff, because I don't like being so wishy-washy with shit. Because also, oh my god, it's turning into therapy and maybe I should stop. As someone with autism, I can definitely motivation is a bitch. True. I was also thinking of the tism, but I don't think, I mean, it's a spectrum, so I'm not like sure and I can't be sure, but a little bit of a handshake emoji. The way to think about it is you're balling in art and other shit, but doing things for extended periods of time is its own skill set. You're on the tricycle. Damn. Damn, I got the training wheels. What is the tricycle exactly? Like, you got the ball and first wheel. Your big wheel is the ball and wheel, and then the taking care of yourself is the other wheel, and then like the doing things for extended periods of time wheel is like the shitty one that's like about to fall off, I'm assuming. But you have to keep taking care of it and like screwing the nut back in and like wiping the dirt off of it every single time you take a drive every day of your life. Drive? Take a ride. But true. Oh, I just said it because the extended task is the unrefined skill, and the others you're good at, they're separate. I see. Like, thinking of it, like, it's not... like, yeah, I get what you mean. You can't do everything. You can't be good at everything. And some things, they're different, they take more effort, they're a different skill set. Anywho... Fuck, I had something else that was annoying in my mind. Ugh, but I forgot. Damn it. Anyway, I hope I can just like chill today, like real, like chill, like actual relax. Sometimes I do carry within me the child of God, and I feel really good, but sometimes I don't. Some I'm not gonna say that joke. I'm not going to say that joke, but sometimes I don't have that dog in me. And I know it's up and down, and it's always a cycle, and it's always back and forth, but grr, frustrating. But you know, on the bright side of things, it's about it's about like setting routines for yourself, pretty much. I know that. Like I know everything. I'm literally God, but it's just the execution, bro. It's hard. Sometimes that dog be sleepy. Every dog needs a little rest. And the 8 hours is just not enough. Or the 10 hours or the 12 hours. Sometimes you just gotta hit the bricks, but in a way that you're taking a break from everything. Sometimes everything is too much. We're going to find out what I carry within me, the child of God, means. Actually, we can look at the log a little bit, and we can backtrack. We were fighting with Morgana. Well, not really fighting, but she's the master manipulator, the big girl boss. And Michelle, we were learning about Giselle's past and stuff. And we're about to find out the truth. Not all the doors. Like, not all the doors. They were the history of the mansion, but we're finding out the truth about our girl. Our girl. And the witch has resided in this mansion for like eternity, and also she did, and also we're finding out about their relationship more, I think. Okay, but the 8 hours do be enough. Won't sugarcoat that. Okay, sometimes it do be enough. I'm not sure who this is, so that is where it all began. The words of one foolish woman determined the course of my entire life. Before I was even born, my fate was decided. Did her claim come from faith? Was it her way of escaping reality? Did she do it for money or fame? I don't know. I have been visited by an angel of the Lord. The village where she lived had suffered from years of poor harvest. It had been months since the last rain, and all the villagers prayed desperately to be blessed with succor. I am with child, though I have known no man. Oh, it's Mother Mary. Hi, Jinoko. So proclaimed the pregnant woman in the midst of the drought. And on the day of my birth, the very moment I let out my first cry, a heavy rain fell down upon the village. The storm quenched the parched earth, nourishing the crops and saving the village. The villagers were astounded, for they had thought the drought would never end. As plump drops of rain poured down upon the village, they gathered around newborn me in exultation. Ah, she is the child of God. I think this is Morgana. Morgana's backstory, her lore, the witch. It seems good so far, so I wonder where they started detesting her and hating her. Oh, also it seems a little low. Unless it seems fine. Is the audio good? Lorgana. Oh my god. Fatal Lor Fatal Lorgana. I'm gonna change the stream title. It's a little funny. I gotta admit. Audio good. Okay. Perhaps there would be more wonder in claiming I had magical powers. Perhaps it would make a better story if I were to say there are higher forces involved. But all these years later, here's what I truly think. It was nothing more than a fluke. An improbable stroke of luck. An unbelievably fortunate accident for my mother and the village, and an indescribably unfortunate accident for myself. I am with child, though I have known no man. It's as if that's even possible. Maybe she had fooled around with a man who had gone and abandoned her, and she spouted those lies to convince herself it had never happened. Oof. None of the village men had made any claim to be my father. Perhaps he was someone else's husband, and as such, he couldn't reveal himself, as adultery is a sin in the eyes of God. The girl they were praising as the child of God was indeed not more than the ordinary daughter of a wretched woman. At the time, though, I thought differently. I believed my mother's words, convinced I was a saint, and it gave me a sense of duty, of purpose, rather than superiority. As the daughter of God, I believed it was my responsibility to help anyone in need. So every day I prayed. I asked my father what I could do, what I was meant to do. Not everyone is equally good, however. There will always be someone who lends their ear to the devil's whispers. Damn, this other guy ain't do shit, actually. Wait. One man claimed I was the daughter of a charlatan. He shouted for all to hear, "If you really are the child of God, then perform a miracle for us. Do a flip!" Could he have been any more unreasonable? Miracles are neither magic nor parlor tricks. They are realized through the power of faith. A lowly villager has no place demanding God prove his own divinity. It is the height of arrogance. Do a miracle! But the man refused to heed my words, so, having no other choice, I contemplated what I should do. What I could do to show him I was indeed a saint, and blood was the spark of my inspiration. Michelle, the time when I lived and the time when you lived were not so different. Our views and beliefs about the world are very much the same, so you should understand that in our time, blood was seen as unclean. No balls, you won't turn water to wine. No balls if you don't do this. No, don't do that. Ham slice. It's a deli ham. I forgot to say. It's really good if you dip it in soy sauce, but I didn't have time to go get soy sauce. But maybe later. Actually, blood was seen as pretty funny, considering that it was one of the 4 humors. But anyway, it was a dreadful thing, ridden with diseases, which is why we drained the blood from animals and purified the flesh before consuming it. But being a saint, my blood would have been different. Like the blood of the saints who came before me, mine would be blessed. I believed it would be able to cleanse people's impurities. Thank you. I'm pretty funny. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty funny. For my demonstration, I chose an elderly woman afflicted with a terrible disease. She was on her deathbed, and no one thought she would live for longer than another day or 2. The woman was overjoyed when I came to see her. Sincerely believing me to be a holy servant of the Lord, she gathered all the strength she could muster to climb from her bed and kiss my feet. I felt an intensely deep love for this woman. Placing my hands upon her cheeks, I said with all of the kindness in my heart, "My beloved sister, partake of my blood." The woman agreed without a glimpse of hesitation, and so I pricked the tip of my finger with a knife and let the blood drip into her mouth. Within 3 days, her health had improved enough for her to get out of bed unassisted. Seeing that, no one in the village doubted my powers any longer. In fact, the man who had accused me of being the daughter of a charlatan was subsequently punished for his sins. He received much-deserved retribution for challenging the daughter of God, for mocking her. But of course, being a saint, I forgave the man. He, in turn, repented and changed his ways, worshipping me as the true child of God. Now, I'll be honest with you. I was ecstatic, utterly elated. I felt like I was on top of the world, and I reveled in it. The villagers showered me with adulation. Not adultation. So basically, Gamer Girl Bloodwater go hard as fuck, apparently. Apparently it healed a lady. Be it placebo or otherwise, we don't know. But it worked, and it worked out for her. They revered me, the daughter of God. Anyone who didn't was punished. And on top of that, my blood could cause miracles. Tell me, do you look down on me for feeling the way I did? The actual child of God would never let herself be consumed by such base emotions, would she? But if you would give me a chance, I would like to explain myself. I was but a young girl at the time, and to a child, her mother is the world. Anything she says is the absolute truth. So when my mother's claims so happened to coincide with a lucky miracle, my young mind was set in stone. I was a saint. My blood could heal the sick, and nothing would convince me otherwise. After all, I was but a girl of 6 years old. It is not my place to decide whether my blood truly had miraculous powers or not. If you think it did, then it did. And if you think it was all happenstance, then so it was. Miracles are brought about by faith. So the elderly woman who was healed was done so by the power of her own belief. Baseless hope and desire can, at times, make the otherwise impossible reality. Yeah. You understand just how major a role religion played in our time, don't you, Michelle? Especially as someone whose life was taken from him in the name of God. And you understand how powerful word of mouth can be as well, don't you? It didn't take long for the word of the miracle-performing child of God to spread. Travelers from faraway lands came to our village all in search of aid. Driven by a mixture of elation and duty, I gave my blessings unto every pilgrim who sought them. I gave them my blood, yes. My young hands were perpetually covered in wounds. Running out of skin on my fingers, I cut the back of my hands, my palms, my wrists. Before long, they had turned into swollen, carved up black and red horrors, and so I kept them wrapped in a cloth at all times. The only time I uncovered them was to give blood to those who sought it. My lacerated hands were, in no uncertain terms, gruesome and unsightly, but the believers who came to see me all wept at my selfless sacrifice. And so, I came to cherish those wounds. Excuse me. There were some for whom no miracle took place, but whenever that would happen, the villagers would come out and say, "The daughter of God is not to blame, you simply lack sufficient faith." Thus, such incidents had no negative effect on my reputation as a saint. For 3 years I continued doling out blessings. One day, while I was offering a prayer, my mother let slip her discontent. "Why must you hand out miracles for nothing? Why must you give strangers grace? We should be getting compensated. We deserve remuneration. If we charge just a little bit for each blessing, we could be living so much more comfortably. That is fucked. Comfortably. I was dumbfounded. How could the mother of a saint say such things? Helping people was my divine calling, and she expected payment? I nearly wept hearing my mother preoccupied with such worldly desires. So I explained to her how important this work was. I taught her that we were not to covet material wealth, that we were to dedicate our lives to the service of our fellow man. My shit ding dong, and who the fuck is at the door? Oh my god. If you hear noise in the background afterwards, by the way, apologies. It's out of my hands. It's also my brain was also telling me like I shouldn't do it today. It's going to be noisy. They're going to have people over. I can't do it today. Like I would use it as an excuse, and I know that's bullshit. My brain's so full of shit. And the day I decide to do it, it happens. So, woe be upon me. But that's okay. We simply hear no noise. That's what the yes. You actually don't hear anything. The audio is perfect, and I have no need to say anything actually. Where were we? Our fellow man. Ding dong, God complex delivery. Oh my god, it's here. You want to do an unboxing? Shit. Blue. I'm God. I just read lips, that's why I only watch VTubers. Yeah, impossible to do otherwise. Where were... Oh yeah, our fellow man. You're right, my dear saint, she said, understanding. And I believed her. I fell asleep that night convinced she truly understood, and that there would be no more problems. But the next day, I was sold off. Slaved? What the fuck? By your own mother? That's fucked up. Well, yeah, Morgana... Fata Morgana is pretty fucked, so... You know... Not the most extreme of plot twists. I don't think she was understanding. No. I don't think so. Men I had never seen before carried me by the arms and tossed me into a carriage. My day be so fine, then boom! Slavery! Damn! Confused and panicked, I stuck my head out, searching for my mother. Off in the shadow of the house, I saw her with a strange man, accepting a bag of coins. The carriage rocked back and forth, as it rolled along a dirt road. Shaking and bouncing within it, I struggled with an overwhelming grief and despair. It was perhaps the first time in my life I had felt such a powerful emotion. Damn, it do be like that. I didn't know what I felt so much despair over, though. Obviously, it was over my present predicament, but I wasn't sure what about it hurt the most. Was it that I had been pawned off like a slave? Was it that my mother, the mother of a saint, had been blinded by money? Was it that the villagers had watched in silence as a disciple of the Lord was thrown into a carriage? Or was it that I, daughter of God, lamented my misfortune like a mortal? I decided it was her I decided it was a trial. My father, the Lord God, was testing my worthiness of being his daughter. So I choked back my urge to cry and sat there in silent contemplation. sat in silent contemplation. For almost 3 weeks, I was rocked around in the carriage. The coachman treated me well enough, but I'm certain it was only because he didn't want his precious cargo dying before he could deliver it. He did not, by any means, think me the child of God. The 3rd week, the carriage arrived at a city. It was much larger than the village I had grown up in, with many, many more people crowding the streets. Something about them felt different, too. They all spoke in a tongue foreign to me, which is when I realized I was far, far away from home. I was delivered to the lavishly decorated mansion of the region's lord. Brightly colored flowers bloomed wildly in the garden as guests laughed and ate extravagant meals. And, in addition to them, there were probably 4 times as many slaves moving about the grounds. Getting a range of looks from everyone we passed, from smartly dressed men to scrawny, emaciated servants, I was led to the Lord's chambers. The Lord was surrounded by beautiful women. Perhaps they were slaves, or perhaps they were prostitutes. I couldn't tell. Among them were some girls hardly older than me. They all wore thin swaths of cloth, barely covering themselves at all. The Lord looked me up and down, and with a laugh he said, "Welcome, daughter of God. You'll be performing miracles for me now." Oh no. Oh no, Rose. Miracles are not something to be performed for one single person's benefit, I replied, shocked and furious he had just said something so utterly blasphemous. In response, he said, "I bought you. You are my property. You have no right to an opinion." But I would not have any of it. I entreated him to give up his indulgent lifestyle and devote himself to the service of the Lord. But the more I pleaded, the deeper the creases on his face grew. Thinking back on it now, it was hardly surprising. A 9-year-old girl was scolding the most powerful man in the region. I believed it was my duty, and that I was only doing what was right, but he surely saw it as incredible arrogance. So the Lord forced his will upon me. He bound my hands and feet and cut me without my permission, filling a goblet with my blood and passing it around to his guests. "A saint's blood and good fortune to all." That was when I realized the Lord was only interested in the approval of others. He reveled in their envy as he pranced about, showing off his curious new toy, me. He didn't need any miracles. Neither he nor any of his guests were afflicted with disease or misfortune. They were all richly blessed. Every time he threw a banquet, he drained me of my blood. It became nearly impossible to find a spot on either of my arms. That wasn't a swollen, reddish-black gash. And soon, because my arms weren't providing enough blood for him, the cutting spread to my legs. I lived in a haze of half-consciousness. Honestly, I'm amazed it didn't kill me, though perhaps the Lord was simply taking care not to take more than my body could spare. Watching the wealthy partygoers laugh and sip my blood through bleary eyes, another wave of despair came over me. My miracles, my blood, were not meant to be an appetizer at a feast. They were meant for the sick and the poor. But despite my wishes, the Lord persisted to squeeze me dry day in and day out for his own enjoyment. What did you mean by that? Also, what did you mean by that? What are we talking about here? For a while, I was convinced it was all God's test. That it was part of his plan for me, his daughter. That if I could make it through this trial, I would be allowed to go back to helping people. That man would celebrate my success, envy me, worship me. That sinners would face punishment. That divine retribution would be delivered unto all who had wronged me, a saint. With each passing day, my spirit grew more twisted. Would anyone have believed that scarred and bloodied girl tied up on the floor in the banquet hall was a saint? Unlikely. This was no charitable gathering, but an unholy sabbat. Perhaps it was caused by my corrupted spirit. Perhaps it was my heart's way of crying for help. Or perhaps it was the devil giving me my witch's mark. But no matter what the cause, during one of the bloody banquets, I underwent a transformation. I was half conscious, as usual, when one of the guests pointed at me and shouted something. His face went pale, as if he were afraid, which I found quite curious. The Lord then approached me, grabbing me by the hair and lifting my head. He yelled something, but I was too far gone to be able to make out what he was saying. Suddenly, I found myself released from my bonds, but my body had grown so weak from being tied up for so long I didn't have the strength to hold myself up, and so I collapsed to the floor. I was still trying to figure out what was happening when the Lord drew a sword, raising it high above his head. His words in that moment reached me with perfect clarity. "You're a damned witch wearing a saint's skin." A witch? Why was he calling me a witch? I was the holy daughter of God. I had certainly never made a pact with the devil. What could have given him that idea? What was in store for me now? Had God performed some kind of miracle for him? Is that the... Oh my, the Von Leon? Hello. How are you? We're talking about Morgana's lore. In the Fata Morgana, if you've ever wondered, what is Fata Morgana all about? We're talking about Morgana. Excuse me. 1 second. Holy shit. Oh my god. In the end, this really was a house in Fata Morgana. It was. We're all in houses of Fata Morgana, actually, right now. The titular Morgana. We're here. We're learning about it. Crazy. Where were we? Oh. Dozens of thoughts and questions floated through my mind as death hung over me. I couldn't comprehend anything, and so I didn't feel any fear or anger at my impending death. I was simply curious. What had happened to me? But before I had a chance to find that answer, the Lord swung down his blade. Dead. Without warning, without any time to prepare, the darkness drains away. I think this is Michelle. But I'm not quite sure. And a second later, I crashed into the stairs hard. It is! We're back to our boy. Our My Chemical Romance boy. He's kind of like... right in my ear, I can hear the hiss of the river of blood. The world fades in and out of view, giving way to very real images of a past I never lived. Oh, he got sliced. Interesting. Morgana's done expositing on us, finally. Finally, we're back. In the real world, quote, quote. I can practically feel the fire in my eyes of that mad blood banquet's guest. My vision distorts. I can't regain my focus. Whoa. Excuse me. Oh my god. His voice does strange things to me. Whose blood is this streaming down the stairs? Is it hers? Is it mine? Who am I? A saint? A witch? Is what I'm seeing through a lens of clarity or madness? Oh. Wait, no. No. I am not her. I'm Michelle. No one else. Interesting. What's our theories, bros? Are we one and the same, perhaps? Is it just an illusion? Nom nom nom. Honeyed ham. It hurts, doesn't it? It's hard to breathe. Your chest is on fire. Your vision is blurry. It's dark. It's lonely. It's scary. It's frustrating. It's disheartening. It's exasperating. Isn't it? What you are feeling is exactly the pain I felt. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Owie. I reach my hand out in a plea for help, which is when I see something I can hardly believe. Is that the Fata? No. Both of my arms are covered in gashes, blood flowing from them without end. Sick. The raw flesh beneath my skin has been exposed to the open air. Uh, 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 All I can bring myself to do is scream. That pain, her horrible past, is doing everything in its power to break me. That 9-year-old girl's sickening experiences are twisting and constricting and crushing me. Why is this happening to you? Are you really that slow, my dear? You're empathizing with my pain. You're just that kind-hearted, Michelle. You said you wouldn't give up, didn't you? That you would make your way to me? Then surely this won't be enough to do you in. Of course it won't. Mustering up every last bit of strength I can, I began crawling up the stairs. The red river beats against my open wound, stinging painfully. The simple act of lifting an arm or a leg is almost unbearably agonizing. The blood dripping from my lacerated arms mixes with the blood already soaking in the tower. So this is the pain Morgana suffered? Come on, Michelle. A 9-year-old took it. You can. Yeah, she didn't die for, like, I don't know, that whole time. That was not stated. Surely you can take a little bit of severe laceration and blood loss and stinging. Ugh. Do you despise everyone, Morgana? Did your resentment at your mother's betrayal, at the people who came seeking your blood, at the Lord who took your life, turn into a hatred for all mankind? Your perception of me is still incorrect, Michelle. My grudge is only against a select few. Think about it, my dear. Of the thousands, millions, billions of people living on this planet, my world is comprised of but a minuscule fraction of that. Hatred for all mankind? No, what I feel is not nearly so nebulous. Although if I had died still believing I was a saint, maybe I wouldn't have such a well-defined mission. Are you saying the Lord didn't kill you? Oh my, did you actually think that was the end of my tale? Yeah, kinda. Despite all your big talk, you're afraid of having to suffer through any more of that, aren't you? But you're the one who said you wouldn't give in. So go on. Know my pain without losing your mind. Once again, my surroundings crumble. I have no say. I have no chance to object before I'm dragged back to that repulsive banquet. I reach out, stretching my hand as far as it will reach, but all I can grab is darkness. My bloody body sinks back into the abyss. The pain becomes more than just a memory, eroding away at my consciousness. Expression mode, go! Oh, this is... You're a damned witch wearing a saint's skin. Maybe if I had died then, I wouldn't have become the witch you know now. Now, no. Interesting how they both have the same letters, is it not? But that's all conjecture. Theorizing about what could have happened is an exercise in futility. But no, I did not die that day, brought together by constant mistreatment. The Lord's slaves chose that moment to start their revolt. When he swung down his blade, someone bumped into him, and it was knocked off its course. I didn't have the strength to get to my feet, so I simply watched the chaos unfold before my hazy eyes. It never even occurred to me that I should try to escape. At some point during the riot, a young man, one of the slaves, grabbed me by my bloody, limp arm and led me out of the Lord's manor. The young man brought me to a slum, a place where the people banded together in their hardship, barely scraping together enough to eat every day, let alone pay the taxes demanded of them. Yeah. By the time we had arrived at a small brothel located a ways into the slum, the fog was starting to clear from my mind. I knew where we were, and feeling the gazes of the feeling the gazes of those scantily clothed women, I trembled. In a sense, that was possibly the most frightened I had ever been in my life, despite everything else I had been through. The idea that I had fallen so far I would have to become a prostitute scared me to death. Excuse me. After all, I was a saint, and saints were supposed to retain their purity. Spreading my legs for any man who gave me enough coins would shatter my very identity. As all that was going through my mind, I probably shouted no in protest, because the slave gave me an exasperated look and told me he hadn't brought me here to become a prostitute. He said he knew someone here, someone I could trust, and that she would give me a room. I had trouble believing him, though. I couldn't trust a word of a prostitute. Oh, he's not a prostitute. I thought someone who valued money over her own what? I was right, actually. Someone who valued money more than her own body. It was all a trap, I was sure. One day, they would tell me I had to work. Nothing he said would convince me otherwise. Apparently sensing my mistrust, the slave gave me an apologetic frown and handed me a mirror, saying, "Even if I did, you couldn't get any work looking like that." I could not believe what I saw. That couldn't be my face. It had to be an illusion. There was no way. That was not the face of a saint. It couldn't be. It wasn't real. It wasn't possible. Patches of skin had fallen off of my face, exposing the raw, red flesh beneath. It looked quite similar to what had been done to my arms and legs, except my face had never been cut before. Looking at myself in the mirror, even I doubted my own sainthood. The thing in my reflection was a hellish abomination. It was the twisted face of a witch. And although I was shocked by what I saw, at the same time it answered several lingering questions. It explained why the Lord and his guests had panicked at the sight of me, and it also explained why he had said I was a witch wearing a saint's skin. Over the course of the dozens of banquets I had participated in, my face must have mutated, twisted into this ugly, sickening, monstrous thing. The sight of what I had become sapped the last bit of willpower from me. Not because I was particularly fond of my face or thought myself especially beautiful, but because it crushed me to seeing everything saintly about me crumble away. Test from God or otherwise, I didn't have the strength left to attempt to overcome it. Deciding I would rather be dead than struggle any longer, I begged the slave to kill me. Taking one's own life was a sin. If I did that, I would not be able to return to my father's side, and I wanted to ask him why I had been put through such tribulation. But the young man refused. He said, completely missing my intention, that if I persevered, good fortune would eventually find me. He said that if I lived on, I would eventually have a chance to get my payback. I had no such worldly concerns, though, but if no one would take my life, I had no choice but to live. I despised life at the brothel. The men who came to buy their services were disgusting buffoons. the kind of people who would think they could deceive God. And the women fawning over them were just as repulsive. That said, I had nowhere else to go, which meant I was forced to suffer that sickening place. But by the time a year or so had passed, my feelings about it had changed. The women of the brothel took good care of me, treating me like a sister. At first, it was just irritating. I was a saint, and how could a saint have prostitutes for sisters? But over time, I got to know them better, grew to appreciate their circumstances and hardships. Despite barely having enough money to keep food on the table, whenever they had a little to spare, they would use it to purchase medicine, ointments to apply to my arms, legs, and face. And as a result of their generosity, my arms and legs looking... oops. And as a result of their generosity, my arms and legs started looking almost human, but nothing had any effect on my face. Occasionally, the slave would drop in to check on me. The other men thought me ghastly and wouldn't get anywhere near me, but he was different. And every time he visited, he would say, "One day I'll show you the world." And to tell you the truth, I was beginning to grow attached to it all. My time at the brothel was probably, all things considered, one of the brighter chapters of my life. There I was neither saint nor witch, but an ordinary human girl. For the first time I felt like my life had meaning beyond my assumed divine purpose. I was even beginning to feel kind of happy. And which... I'm going to take a bite of ham. You know, I've been thinking, whenever I get to working on my new model, I wanna be a little creature. I wanna have a creature like... I was mostly just thinking like slime hands, you know? Something more creaturely. Or it could be smaller. No, this is my divine purpose. Goo proportions. More goo? More slimeliness? I think it would be nice. And with each passing day, my intractable worldview was gaining a little flexibility. Perhaps I could perform miracles, but that didn't necessarily mean I had to be the daughter of God or a saint. Maybe I was just a regular person who happened to possess some unusual abilities. Ridiculous, isn't it? Despite coming to accept my humanity, I refused to let go of my miraculous powers. They were the last thing protecting what I thought of as myself. But to me at the time, it felt like a very dramatic change of heart. 3 years after the revolt at the Lord's Manor, I had my 12th birthday, for which they threw me a little dinner party. The women all pitched in to bake me treats, and the young slave man was there too. I was happy. I thought that if life could continue on like this, I was fine with not going back to being a saint. But for some reason, happiness always seems to slip away as soon as you've got your hands around it. No one sincerely wants to lose it, so why must they? I certainly didn't mind not being miserable. Let me tell you what happened that night. On the night of my birthday celebration, bandits attacked the brothel. Now, bandits were hardly a rarity in that time, so everyone was always on the lookout and we never went out at night. They wouldn't stop at robbing you either. They were armed with blades and would frequently kill their targets if necessary. But cautious as we were helpless against a direct raid. The brothel fell into a panic, screams echoing in the night. The customers were carved up and left for dead. The women were bound and stowed away to be sold. My peaceful world shattered in an instant. And the next thing I knew, I was some slave trader's merchandise. I don't know what became of the prostitutes who cared for me, or the slave who brought me to them. I assume the women were sold and the young man slaughtered. But regardless, I found myself being rocked around in the back of the carriage once more. The carriage was packed so tight you could barely see the floor, and it smelled like death. Sweat, urine, feces. Every foul odor imaginable compressed into a tiny space. There were both men and women there, nearly all of them muttering or groaning or weeping. Everyone was young, ripe to be put to work. It didn't take me long to realize what fate awaited these people, and me. And when I did, I just sat there in silence. Then, for the first time, I cried. I was experiencing, I believe, a very human emotion. I was sad, hurt that I had been taken away from a place where I was happy. From the women at the brothel and that young man. It crushed me. And no longer did I wonder why such a thing was happening to the child, the holy daughter of God. Something about my tears must have seemed strange to him, because one man saw me and said, "Are you crying?" He was a curious man. To start, he looked very different from anyone else. The color of his skin, the length of his nose, the shape of his eyes. Everything about him was new and unusual. Hesitantly, I replied, "I'm sad because I didn't get the chance to show my gratitude to people very dear to me." The man fell silent, looking as though he was deep in thought. I had no idea why he had asked me that, but something about him made me uncomfortable, so I couldn't bring myself to ask. Several hours later, the man suddenly stood up. The guards had no patience for anyone stepping out of line, and they didn't look like they would hesitate to kill us either. So, unsurprisingly, one at the back of the carriage drew his sword and pointed it at the man. What was surprising, though, was what happened next. The man, his hands shackled like the rest of us, leapt for the guard, slamming his fist into his face and stealing his sword. The entire carriage was in shock. The guards were too stunned to effectively react, so they were quickly cut down. And because the one-man uprising had taken place between cities, there was no one the slave traders could ask for help before they were slaughtered. In the blink of an eye, it was all over. And there was nothing human about what I had witnessed. True. If I had to describe it, I would say it was as though a wild beast had attacked. The man ruffled through the slave trader's clothes until he found the keys, which he brought to me, ordering I unshackle him. And so I did as he commanded. Excuse me. Once they had enough time to process what had happened, the would-be slaves applauded. Their wretched souls had been saved, and for a moment, I believed so too. When the man's hands were free, he rolled his shoulders a couple times, made sure everything was in place, and then he began his massacre. Screams of agony filled the carriage as he ran his sword through the helpless men and women packed inside it. Blood and guts were splattered against every surface, and those who tried to escape did not get far before being mercilessly skewered. It was like a scene out of a nightmare. I was frozen in place, not out of fear, but because my mind had shut down. I couldn't make sense of what was happening, so my mind rejected it. And with my brain having given up, my body was no more than a lifeless puppet. In short order, all the slaves were dead, and I was sitting in a pool of blood staring at the man. He pointed his blade at me, and with a little smirk said, "Why didn't you run?" In turn, I asked him, "Why did you kill them?" The smile vanished from his face, and after a few quiet moments of pondering, he replied, "Because I felt like it." "And why haven't you killed me yet?" I asked. To which he gave a curt, "I don't know," then withdrew his blade and wandered off into the distance. And then I was all alone, surrounded by corpses. I glanced down, and half of someone's face was looking back up at me. What a kind man. No. It's not chat behavior, unfortunately. We thought it was going to be good. Didn't then? Wrapped in absolute darkness. Ooh, yucky noise. I think this is Michelle, so. Warm blood spills onto my cheeks, my hair, my skin. Chunks of human flesh rain down on me. Ugh, make it stop! Pitter patter, pitter patter. There's no end to the deluge. The smell of death fills the air. Okay, well, at least Michelle should get his arms patched now. Oh, like after every sequence, he should be reset. No more arm wounds, but but now he's got the blood rain and the chunks on him. I'm struck with a wave of nausea so strong I can't hold back the contents of my stomach. Blech. But when my mouth opens to vomit, blood pours with it. Oh, pours into it? Oh, yuck. Oh, gross. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Let go of me. Dead bodies grabbing my ankles, dragging me down. To where? Hell? Or to the mountain of corpses? Awkward. Yeah, it's kind of like when someone like turns to cough or turns to sneeze and it's in your face. Awkward. Accidentally getting a pool of blood in your mouth as you're trying to vomit. Ooh. Cringe. Now do you understand that there was a time, if but briefly, when I was happy, when I felt human emotions? But I wish I never had. If I had remained confined in my Daughter of God shell, then I doubt I would have felt so much terror at the sight of death. What the spruce? That's new. Where's what the spruce from? I can't say anything in response. I can't form words. I feel what she experienced, the massacre she witnessed, the limp flesh piling up around her. Even more than twice her age. It's enough to drive me mad. And the fact that a 12-year-old girl had to experience something so unspeakable devastates me. Tell me, my dear, do you pity me? Do you sympathize with me? If you feel bad for me, then you'll remain with me. You'll feel my pain and my despair with me, won't you? The witch's cackle echoes through the pile of bodies. There's not a speck of light, and hideous death lingers everywhere. Helpless to resist. Oh yeah. Helpless to resist! I'm dragged down into the deep, into a deep, dark ocean. An ocean of blood. Now, on with the story. Exposition mode activate. Pew! Ham! Michelle's angst is backfiring when exposed to something even more emo than MCR. He can't handle this much gore and blood and torment and despair. He can only take it with lyrics. Nom 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 nom. I'm going to... What about it? Oh, what say you? Should I get another slice of ham? I've eaten 2.5 so far. Should I get another one and then some soy sauce? Or should I just start eating my Ritz crackers? As a treat. Ding! Yeah, as a treat. Feed the slime. Oops. Ow. Feed the slime some ham. Don't you hate it when you yank your earbuds out of your ears forcibly because your posture is abysmal and then your knee hits it and then it hurts? But it's okay. As a treat, I will get some more. BRB. Oh my. Oh my. Hold on. I just got my ham. Hold on. Igado! Hi, hi, hi! Hello, real! I'm. Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold up. Hello! Welcome in, Raiders. I just got ham. Welcome back. We're back from the ham break. Hi, welcome, Igado. Welcome, Buttons Hero. Welcome, Paul the Slime. Hello, fellow slime. We are slimes here. Handshake emoji. Oh, Bambino, hi. Ooh, ham? Thank you for the follow, Paul. Ham time? Like in sandwich form? Admittedly, it's just slices of ham. I also got some soy sauce to dip it in. Welcome Raiders were a little weird here. But if that's what you like, then you're in luck. My name's Tan. I'm an ice cream slime. Thank you for the follow, Bambino. I'm an artist, a rigger, uh, brain burr. And I'm reading Fata Morgana today. It's quite warning. It's quite, as you can see, there's blood all over the screen. It's very horrible, horrifying. The things that happen to the characters, horrible. Slices of ham dipped in things are legit. Oh, I'm glad you agree. Thank you. I thought it was strange, but truly I didn't want to like prepare anything. I forgot. I forgot. I wanted to make myself French toast. Damn it. Oh wait, before I get into that, how are you guys? Hopefully well. How was your stream? Nice to meet you. I remember last time, it was the very end of the stream, so apologies on my part. But thank you. Happy to see you here, real. Um, um, my roommate buys these like gourmet charcuterie ham slice things, and I just eat the whole thing. Bro, yeah. Like, they're good. They're good. We found these like fancy Lunchables. Like, these packets of like crackers and fancy cheese and fancy hams. Hams? Meats? Like Genoa salam with a E at the end. Salame. And I don't know, other ham. And they're pretty good, honestly. Charcuterie is really cool. Yeah. I was doing animation of other VTubers for some hours, got some progress done. Yeah, I've seen your animation. Wait, the shout out. Sorry, I forgot. Please. Their animations. I'm sure you've seen it around Twitter because I sure have. I always spell that right. Yeah. Do it. Hit the button. Do it now. My influence. Do it. But super cool animation and art stuff. And check out, if you go in the about, there's a link to more. Look at it. I'm glad you had a good time though, and I'm glad you got that progress in. Salami is yum, yeah. Anywho, do I need to say more about myself? I feel like all you need to know is I eat ham, and you can find out the rest later. You don't know what you're signing up for. And isn't that interesting? Isn't that a little exciting? Anywho, uh you're in a timely part too. It really does say now on with the story. Currently though, we're learning about the Morgana's twisted past and the horrors that have happened to a young girl, and hopefully we're going to find out like what happens in her older years and how she became the witch of this house, or if she is powerful or has actual powers, or if it's something more realistic, or not realistic but grounded in reality. Quite convenient. It's a little subsection of the graphic, no, visual novel. Now on with the story. I was at a complete loss for some time after that. I didn't want to return to the city because I knew there was no one left who would take me in. There was only the Lord, who had bound me and drained me of my blood. What happened to the redeemables? Hey, what happened to the redeemables? Ping 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 ping. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting to say that to people when they come in. But all my thingies are automatic. Pew, pew, pew. Well, they would be automatic if I would remember to hit refresh on my browser. Hold on, I'm not ready. Wait. No, it's not cringe. It's not cringe. Hi, Em. Welcome in. So Morgana gets a helping of tragedy too. Yeah. It's her tragedy manifest. So I wandered the roads, no destination in mind, and nothing to defend myself but the clothes on my back. Frankly, I'm rather surprised I wasn't attacked by bandits. After walking for days without food or water, my mind was hazy and my exhaustion at a peak. In the distance, I saw a lake. So driven by my thirst, I turned my unsteady feet toward the water, not caring that it took me off the main road. And it turned out that was the correct choice, because there was a small cottage beside the lake, smoke rising from the chimney, telling me it wasn't abandoned. Out of sheer desperation, I knocked on the door. No one answered. The door wasn't locked, so I slowly, hesitantly pushed it open, and beyond it, I found an old woman sitting dead in a chair. The woman was a witch, by trade, that is. It appeared she had a deep knowledge of medicinal herbs, using it to make an assortment of medicines. You can sometimes, if you listen close enough, you can hear the witch brewing still. Pots clinging, clanging, herbs, spices being thrown. It's so chilling, isn't it? Using it to make an assortment of medicines. In her cabinets were dozens of small glass bottles containing dried, powdered leaves and crushed berries, among other things. On the fire was a cauldron, liquid bubbling inside. For how long? The woman looked as though she was asleep. Presumably, she had passed away of old age, for there was no sign bandits had been rooting through the cottage, and she had a look of absolute serenity on her face. Looking over at the woman's dead body, I didn't cross myself. I envied her. Dragging the woman... Ham time! Bleh. Dragging the woman's body by her feet, I dumped her into the lake. Do you think doing so makes me a bad person? Makes me unsaintly? Well, I didn't have anywhere else to go, and the owner of the cozy cottage was no longer of this world. There was no reason I couldn't fill the home in her stead, was there? I deserved to have somewhere I felt comfortable after everything I'd been through. Didn't I? Hadn't I? Didn't I? And so I took up residence in the old witch's cottage, and remained there until my 16th year. Sweet, free home. No payments needed. It's not like 100,000 to 500,000. Damn, I said that and I was like, that's way too high. No, that is how high they are. Oh, I hate the economy. By 16, a terrible cynicism had taken root in my heart. Sweet 16, peace sign. Bleh. I had no trust for people. I shut them out, building high walls around myself. After such a tumultuous, bloody childhood, it was all I could do to protect myself, to keep my young spirit from cracking. Nevertheless, travelers would, on occasion, pay the old witch's cottage a visit, seeking her medicines. Whenever someone arrived, I would cautiously crack the door open, telling them they could trade for whatever they wanted with food, and never showing my face. One day, a young man showed up at the cottage. My sister has fallen very ill, and she desperately needs medicine. He was very soft-spoken. There was a distinct kindness in his voice, which I thought unusual. Curious. What kind of person could he be? What did he look like? What expressions did he make as he spoke? To satisfy that curiosity, I snuck a peek at him through the crack in the door. He was a handsome young man with flowing flaxen hair, and upon seeing me, he didn't flinch back in disgust. He smiled. According to him, his younger sister had fallen gravely ill. Excuse me. And though they had tried a number of remedies, she was still bedridden. The medicines I gave him, too, had no effect, but he persisted in his quest, visiting me again and again for new combinations to try. He wanted nothing more than to relieve even the slightest bit of his sister's suffering. And, moved by his dedication to his family, I too wanted to do anything I could to help. For the first time in years, my world encompassed more than my small cottage. When the young man came, he would ask not only for medicine, but to go on walks with me. He volunteered to spend time with me, despite my horrifying appearance. It's not healthy to stay holed up inside all the time. You've got this beautiful lake right here. What do you say we take a little walk around the shoreline? he said with a smile, taking me by the hand. We spoke as we circled the lakeside. His voice was always soft and pleasant, like a ray of light shining through a crack in the walls. When I was with him, I felt like I could be an actual person, an ordinary girl. He talked about his sister more than anything, and whenever he did, he was at his brightest and most melancholy. The young man had been a member of a noble house, but disputes over who the rightful heir had forced him and his sister out. Shortly after that, his sister had fallen ill and was now bedridden. I'll take anything at this point to make her better. I'll even take a miracle if I can get one. That word, muttered beneath his breath, sparked my memory. I was a saint. My blood had healing properties. I had no reason to hesitate. Someone needed my help, and who deserved it more than his kind heart? And who deserved it more than this kind-hearted young man's sister? So I decided to tell him what I really was, that my blood had miraculous powers, that it had saved people, that the moment I had been born, the drought plaguing my village had come to an end, that I had been known as a saint, the daughter of God. I told him everything, and he believed it all. He led me to his house, where a pale, sickly young girl lay in bed. She was a sweet little girl with the same flaxen hair as her brother, who looked like she would have been quite spirited if not for her ailment. Feeling a big rut roll coming up. Uh-oh. You think it's not gonna work? You think it does work? But then something bad happens after that? Is this gonna be a certified rut roll moment? Rut roll moment, if you will. It was touching to see the two siblings sitting there together, quietly holding each other. I would gladly give my blood for the two of them. The Scooby-Doo, the one where they're both high, and he goes hee hee hee. That one's a really good. The meme. I just said that one like you assumed what I was talking about. Jesus. I'm terminally online. Help me. I would gladly give my blood for the two of them. Shaggy and Scooby. No, we know. And so I made a new cut on my arm, which had healed considerably thanks to the slave and the women of the brothel, and let the girl drink of my blood. Neither of them had any doubts about my sainthood, and because they believed, a miracle occurred. The flaxen-haired girl recovered enough to get out of her bed. I was extremely proud of myself. I felt like, for once, I had actually saved someone's life. The only issue was, she didn't make a complete recovery. For a few days after drinking my blood, she was in good health, but her condition quickly regressed. I was deeply perplexed by this. A miracle had undoubtedly taken place, but it was only temporary. Now, though, I believe I can explain what happened. Her recovery was nothing more than a placebo effect caused by her faith. But that's something I couldn't have known at the time. We were all three perplexed, and we were all three disheartened. Nevertheless, I was prepared to give her my blood as many times as needed. Whenever her condition worsened, the young man came to request more, and never once did I turn him away. On the contrary, I enthusiastically offered her my services. Over time, though, the hope in his eyes began to fade. He asked me on fewer walks, and he seemed hesitant to look me in the eye. I assume it was out of discomfort, out of guilt, out of shame about asking for blood. But I don't think his concerns were for me, rather himself and his sister. As I mentioned earlier, blood was considered unclean in our time, and not only was I giving mine away, I was having his sister imbibe it. Looking at it that way, it would hardly be a surprise for him, or anyone else, to think what I was doing depraved. As time passed, the flaxen young Weekly sippies. Time for your weekly sippy. Shink! Cuts hand, drips blood into your mouth. Hee, it works! As time passed, the flaxen-haired young man seemed to grow more and more disturbed by me. That was what I got for opening up. That was what I got for letting his kind, warm light shine in on me. The moment things went bad, he pulled away. There were times when I thought I shouldn't have done anything in the first place, but regardless, I held fast to my original decision. I would put myself on the line for them. No one else. Just them. Even if he was afraid of me or had no interest in seeing me, I would continue offering her my blood. And I was firm in my resolve. One day, though, I received a new visitor. The young man was still the only one I would show my face to, the only guest I'd let into my walls. So, as usual, I took the man's request from behind the cottage door. But I could hardly believe my ears when he began speaking. "Are you the witch with the miracle blood?" First, how did he know my blood had powers? Second, why had he called me a witch and not a saint? Third, why did he sound like the man who had slaughtered the slave carriage? I told the man he had to leave, that I would not be opening the door for any reason. In response, he said, "I am in need of your blood. Could you not spare a little?" My blood was for the sick and needy. I would never spare a drop for a murderer like him. And I told the man exactly that, demanding he leave. All I could think was the... No, I read that right. All I could think was... Oh, there was about. Silly. All I could think about was the pile of bodies, the fountain of blood, the man drenched in crimson, wearing a ghastly smirk. I trembled behind the door, fearing he may go on another such rampage. But instead, he gave a simple, "as you say," and went on his way. I let out a deep sigh of relief, which is when I realized tears were rolling down both my cheeks, like an ordinary girl. 3 days later, the flaxen-haired boy showed up at my cottage. "I'm sorry for being so distant lately. I want to talk things over." Those 2 sentences were like a light shining from above. I wanted to talk to him too. I wanted to take a walk around the lake and listen to him talk about nothing. I wanted to experience the warmth of his world once more. And I wanted to tell him about the terrible man who had been there a few days earlier. About how scared I had been. I wanted him to tell me it would be alright. "I want to talk to you too," I said, opening the door without a second thought. The light of the sun was so bright, all I could make out was his silhouette. I couldn't see the look on his face or the look in his eyes. A gentle breeze blew past, and my mind froze. How could this be happening? What did it mean? Why? How? What was that man doing, standing behind him? Why was he carrying a sword? Why was he coming into my house? And why did he swing it down, severing my arm? I was in a daze. I couldn't make sense of anything. I didn't want to. My left arm fell to the floor before I even knew what was happening, and then my legs gave out. The pain, searing and unbearable, came a few moments later as I was lying in an ever-expanding pool of my own blood. Michelle about to wake up from this one feeling a bit unbalanced. Uh-oh. I did something then that I hadn't done before, that I had resisted doing no matter how much blood the Lord had stolen from me. I screamed. It was a hideous, visceral noise, a sound I had never thought a saint could make. The same ear-splitting howl the slaves had made as the man had butchered them. I writhed, I wailed, I wept. I crawled across the floor through my own blood. I begged and I begged and I begged for my life. The man walked over and picked up my severed arm, and then, shockingly, He tossed it to the kind-hearted young man, after which he had said, "That's your share. Should last you long enough." Share? What did he mean by share? What was he talking about? Why had he given my arm? Why had he given him... Why had he given him my arm? And why had he taken it? Why was he talking like they knew each other? Why? Why? I had spared blood for him when he asked, hadn't I? So why was he doing this? Was cutting my arm off and stealing it easier on his conscience than simply asking? You understand how I felt, don't you? You can put yourself in my shoes, can't you? The young man refused to look me in the eye. Holding my bloody arm in his trembling hands, he fled from the cottage as quickly as his legs would allow. The man then walked over and picked me up. I had neither the strength nor willpower to resist. Holding me in his arms, he began to speak, telling me things I didn't want to know, things I didn't want to hear, but he didn't care. Nothing personal. I just need your blood. Without it, she'll lose her church. She'll lose her church? Don't take it personally. Tell me, is there anyone in this world who wouldn't feel a bit of spite? Damn. After being put through such torture, how was I supposed to let that slide? No one's that much of a saint. My trust had been betrayed and I was supposed to turn the other cheek. A man had barged into my home uninvited and cut off my arm, and I was supposed to smile and take it? Is there anyone, anywhere, who doesn't feel even the slightest bit of hatred ever? Is there anyone in this world who could just laugh and brush off this level of abuse? Tell me, is there? How could I not hold a grudge? How could I not despise them? How could I possibly forgive them? Tell me. Please. Tell me, how could I? She needs the money. I needed some way of getting enough money to keep her church running. So the Lord made me an offer. If I brought him the witch with the miracle blood, he would finance a whole new church for her. The Lord. Why him again? Why couldn't he leave me alone? After trying to kill me during one of his blood Sabbaths, why was he after my blood once more? Had he learned it really did have miraculous powers and decided he wanted me back? You get to be the sacrifice, to keep her church from collapsing, to keep her world from collapsing. Sacrifice? Excuse me, what? And what's all this about keeping her church from collapsing? You murdered a carriage full of innocent people, and you're trying to protect a church? You? Are you out of your mind? Churches are where people go to commune with God, to speak with my Father. How dare you soil those sanctified grounds with your filthy hands, you beast! It's insulting, sacrilegious, repulsive. Just what do you think we are? So don't take it personally, witch. I'm not a witch. I'm a saint. I was a saint. My blood exists to do the Lord's work, not to satisfy the avarice of men. Why is this happening to me? The man brought me back to the city, but instead of taking me to the Lord's manor, he brought me to a church on the city's outskirts. Though, to be honest, it looked more of an estate than a church. The church is all alone. Ham time. Nom, nom, nom. I don't know what happened to this man, but clearly he is not. He is. Who allowed him? The church. The church also served as a hospital, offering free care to less fortunate children, the poor, and the infirm. That was when I learned why he had said they needed money. The owner of the church offered unconditional assistance to anyone who came. Even when food and supplies ran low, they would ration their own in order to keep helping others. As a result, the church was perpetually on the verge of collapse. The church was run by a woman, something exceedingly rare for the time. There were no priests. All management was handled by a single nun who everyone referred to as the Saintess. I was the saint. Why was this woman, who didn't have any ability to perform miracles, being worshipped like she did? Why did the people of the city idolize her? Why were their smiles all directed at her? Why was I not in her place? The man carried me to the top of the observation tower. It was there that I had my reunion with the Lord. I was to spill my blood for the people of the city, but also for the Lord's profit. He was not offering free aid, but selling it as medicine. He claimed it was a miracle elixir, telling no one that it was actually my blood. It was mixed with a beautiful red wine, and drinking it would cure you of any ailment. If they knew it was actually the blood of a witch, they would think it unclean. They would fear it. Crazy. I remained imprisoned for a long, long time. In the beginning, a swordsman guarded me, though before long the flaxen-haired young man showed up as well. Presumably, one severed arm wasn't enough to keep his sister healthy for long. In listening to their conversations, I learned that, to ensure no one else could get in, the observation tower was sealed with 3 locks. The Lord, the swordsman, and the young man each held one of the keys. Interesting. Well, this leads back into the video game. Well, not video game, but Michelle was looking for a way to open the observation tower door, which had 3 locks, and we were like, man, how do we get in there? We know some people have the keys, but... Oh, hey, y'all. It also corresponds to the little pre-section we had, where we were looking for the keys and getting them from the residents of the manor, which were the flaxen-haired young boy from the first door. The swordsman, I presume, is the beast from the second door because of his violence. And the Lord is Jacopo because he's a rich businessman. And that lines up pretty well, I think. So I wonder if the mansion itself is a illusion or if it's actually real. Like, is this all just Morgana's crafting? And their representations of her anguish? Are they representations of They're representations of betrayal and violence and being locked up in a shed. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting how that... Damn, they really wrote a story. Crazy! Of course it lines up. That's pretty cool. I was their secret, locked away in the tower for them to drain of blood away from wandering eyes. Damn, this Fata really did Morgana. Yeah! Time went on and I grew progressively weaker. I lost the will to eat and the will to live. That would explain why there's a church room in this mansion. It's a church. Damn, they really faded my Morgana. I lost the will to eat and the will to live. My only view from the tower was the clouds through a window high up on the wall. Occasionally, a pigeon would fly in, sometimes a butterfly, and I would glare in envy as it fluttered around, free to come and go as it pleased. And soon it was spring. Every spring, the church held a festival to pray for the coming year's harvest and the people's well-being. I could hear the bustle from far below the window as everyone rushed to prepare. I heard the flaxen-haired girl's voice, who had regained her health drinking my blood. I heard her brother's voice, who had betrayed me. I heard the nun's voice, who played saint in my stead. Who's the nun? Who's the nun? Do you think it's a representation of Giselle, perhaps? There was a little confusion in my head where, is Giselle Morgana a representation of, or the white-haired girl, perhaps? Drink blood. Gotcha. Gulp. I heard the barbaric swordsman's voice who had chopped off my arm, and I heard the Lord's voice, the root of all my suffering. I heard people praising the saintess, though I, the true saint, was locked in the tower. I heard people thanking the Lord for his generous donations and miracle medicine, though it had all come from me. Propped up on my suffering, they cheered and clinked glasses of my bloody wine. Those merry, peaceful, cheerful, spirited sinners' voices resounded in my tower. And at noon on the day of the festival, the church bell tolled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and with the 12th chime, I died. As the bell's last pealing faded into silence, the tower door swung open. Standing on the other side of it were 3 men. They must have wanted to drain a little more for me to use in the feast, but they arrived at the worst possible moment. The flaxen-haired young man was the first to express his consternation. Why, I never wanted her to die. Was she not eating? The Lord gave my corpse a casual glance and said, stone-face, "Seal the tower off. Understood? No one finds out about this." How can you be so calm? Do you understand what you've done? Ha, pinning the blame on me. How nice it must be to be able to distort reality with panic. The swordsman, who had been silently observing the Lord and the boy conversing, interjected. You're just as guilty as any of us. Not only did they not mourn my death, they argued over whose fault it was. There was no regret, no remorse. The young man muttered absent-mindedly, I never wanted her to die. What did his intentions matter, though? It was his betrayal that had ultimately tethered me to this mansion. But the fact that they didn't grieve my death, and instead squabbled amongst themselves like filthy rats, was the final straw. How could I not despise them? I don't believe I actually had the power to perform miracles when I was alive. It was all faith, the illusion of belief. I was neither a saint nor a witch. The blood wine was only effective because people placed their faith in the other saintess. I was only ever human. But then, in that moment, an actual miracle occurred. My father bestowed upon me his power. Or perhaps it was the devil who lent me his strength. I was looking down upon my own dead body, my own wretched self. There was nothing beautiful about the pile of bones I had become. I could almost smell the rotting flesh. That was once a saint? Excuse me. Ham time. This is hitting. It's pretty good. The story, I mean, the ham is fine. This should be hitting. It's kind of... It's got a very good sense of like when to hit you with it, you know? That was once a saint. I laughed at the thought. It was absurd, ridiculous, and infuriating. Hi, halfling. Welcome. Other halfling, rather. I both call you halfling. They would pay. Those who had cast me into this hell, who had mocked me, who had done this to me, who had made a witch out of me. Hatred coursed through me, revulsion at everyone on these grounds still smiling. They would know just whose dead shoulders their little party was resting upon. If they wanted so badly to call me a witch, then a witch I would be. I would kill them. Every last one of them. Place a curse on their souls. And so I made my wish. Most people might consider it a curse, but to me, it was most certainly a wish. And my father, or maybe the devil, granted that wish. From the garden, there rose a scream. The flaxen-haired young man knew that voice better than anyone. He went deathly pale, darting down the spiral staircase until he reached a window. A young girl was on her knees, vomiting blood in the grass. The young man adjusting. The young man let out a yelp as he descended the remainder of the staircase. I need a sip. Try again. One more time. He is quite unfortunate. Mel. The young man let out a yelp as he descended the remainder of the staircase. As soon as he reached the garden, he lifted the girl in his arms, but she had already perished. Realizing this, he cried to the heavens, saying the one thing he should have kept to himself. The witch killed her. The blood of the witch killed my sister. That wine you're drinking is no medicine. It's the blood of the witch. You're all drinking witch blood. Crushed by the loss of his only family, the young man picked up a silver fork and plunged it into his own throat, ending his life. Naturally, there was an uproar. Goblets of wine crashed against the earth in rapid succession, as the people holding them fell to the ground and vomited or convulsed. The nun was the first target of their outrage. What she had claimed to be medicine had turned out to be blood, an unclean substance, the blood of a witch, no less. A servant of the church, a servant of the Lord, had given her followers blood to drink. Can you imagine? And at this, their indignation surged uncontrollably. The people surrounded her, tying her up and throwing her to the ground. As they prepared to inflict righteous justice upon her, the swordsman soared down the stairs and into the garden, plunging his blade into anyone standing near the nun. Oh, so are the nun and the swordsman parallels to Pauline and the Beast? Or not Pauline, but the white-haired girl? That would make more sense. That ain't wine, dumbass. The cries of agony ringing through the church grounds were ear-splitting. It was no longer a place of God, but hell on earth. Hell built up by the hands of man. Hell painted red with the blood of their brothers. The people armed themselves with anything they could find and went after the man. As much of a beast as he may have been, he stood a little chance against such numbers. It is the fate of a beast to be exterminated by those he terrorizes. And once he was gone, the nun had no one left to protect her. She too was consumed by their frenzy. All that remained was an inextinguishable inferno. Hysteria and despair, madness and outrage, and no outlet for it. It was a revolt that made the slaves' uprising at the Lord's Manor look like a game. Eventually their rage found a new target, the Lord. It was only natural, for he was the true villain. He was the one who had given money, and the witch's blood, to the church. He was the one who had profited off it. And above all, people often resented those who stood above them, particularly in times of unrest. The city resounded with cries for the Lord's head, and he looked down upon it all from the safety of the observation tower. He could do nothing but watch as his domain burned. I can only imagine how painful that must have been. But before long, having seemingly have made his peace, he began descending the spiral staircase. He opened the door at the bottom, revealing himself to his people. But before the door had swung all the way open, before he had had a chance to say his final words, someone ran a blade through his chest. With that, the raging furor mostly settled down, but it was hardly the end of the destruction. Mere days later, a plague befell the city. Dreadful black spots covered the flesh of the infected. They writhed in pain, screaming and vomiting blood. Ghastly howls echoed through the streets, as though the whole city had been possessed. It became a cursed land. In their disease haze, the people muttered again and again, "We have been cursed by the witch!" In less than a week, the entire city was dead. My body was left abandoned at the top of the observation tower. As an they're taking it pretty rough. Dying, that's pretty rough. I'm going to have a little snack. Wits wacko. That's pretty good. Kind of a skill issue? Yeah, honestly, just get out of her AoE. Like, it shows you where it's gonna hit. You can just, like, leave before it hits you. I'd say skill issue too. Like, it was just the city radius. They said it. Deserved? Maybe not. A circle appears on the ground. Dodge away to avoid curse. Exactly. Like, the bar says curse, and it goes, like, it goes from the start of the bar to the end of the bar. You have, like, at least 4 seconds to get out of there. That's more than enough time. Strange. Strange. Anyway. My body was left abandoned at the top of the observation tower. And, as if to seal the curse away, in their final days, the people shuttered all the windows, wrapping the house in darkness. It's possible. That was no miracle either. You can easily explain what happened to them. Locked away for so long in that dirty tower, maybe I caught some kind of disease. And then, when the people drank my blood, they too were infected. Hardly anything out of the ordinary about that. The first to die, the girl, had already been ill. Her body. Her body. Her body merely chose the worst possible time to yield to her ailment. That was all that had happened. Indeed, it was nothing more than a fluke, an improbable stroke of luck, an unbelievably unfortunate accident for the city and those 3 men, and an indescribably fortunate accident for myself. But I wish to believe it was a miracle, that even if my blood didn't have healing properties, and even if I wasn't a saint, my wish, my curse, was what caused that uprising. That was my miracle, granted to me by God or the devil. I choose to believe that, and that my miracle took on its true form thereafter. My curse had brought death upon the 3 men, but for whatever reason, my rancor was far from sated. They had died. So what? Death is but a transient agony. It's nothing compared to what I went through. So I made my next wish. I wished for their reconstruction. I wished eternal suffering on their souls. I wished to trap them in a never-ending cycle of pain and hatred. This was my wish for the flaxen-haired young man. He treasured his dear sister, and he desired a quiet life, so I wished for him to have just that. And I wished for his dearly beloved sister to love him more than anything in the world, for his world to be destroyed by love gone too far. This was my wish for the beast-like man. He was conscious of his tendency for violence, and he yearned to be more human, so I had his inner beast toned up just a little. I saw to it that he would never be human, so he would never have the peace he so desired. My wish for the Lord was more straightforward. He seemed to have great affection for wealth and authority, so I ensured those were the only things he could ever have. Who needs love or friendship when you could be drowning in power? Once he had lost everything, his solitude would be his only companion. Wishes can come true, as long as you always hold fast, never stop wishing, never surrender. They can come true. Eternal suffering on all their souls, an endless cycle of reconstruction, and an unavoidable tragedy. Tell me, my dear, do you sympathize with me? Will you curse them with me? Will you take my hand and revile them with me? Whoa! Whoa! That's pretty good. Damn. Damn. God damn. Excuse me. More snacks, please. Good cracker. Oh, it's him. It's him. We're back to him. Oh my god, it's been so long. This time, when my body crashes into the tower's stairs, I'm unable to make a noise. The obstruction is less mental and more physical. The excruciating pain. It's so intense I can't even eke out a scream. Is that a word? I can't even eek. No, he's in agony. Why am I laughing? It's so Hi, so welcome. It's so intense. I can't even eek. Oh man, I hope that's the correct pronunciation. It's not ek. It can be ek. Double rainbow, wow. Oh yeah, the background is pretty distorted. Or do you mean in real life? Eek pronunciation. Eek word, eek word. Pronunciation. Eek. Eek. It is eek. Eek. Do you think eek, E-E-K, is derived from E-K-E? Because it's like getting something like a scream out. You can't even long it out. You can't even eke it out. Eek. I can't read that again. My vision is distorted. My mind thick with fog. I feel like I'll fall into a bottomless pit if I loosen my grip on my consciousness even slightly. Through the haze, I see my own severed left arm. Oh yeah, he cut the hit. That's a lot. That's a lot. Getting all of that in one go? Oof. Reflected in a pool of blood, I see my face. Large chunks of flesh peeled off. Look at you, trying to crawl up those stairs like a worm. How pathetic. It's like I'm looking at my old self. I could barely form a coherent thought. I can't lament her inhuman fate, can't mourn for her, or be shocked by the revelation about the three men and her history with them. Pain. It fills every corner of my twisted mind, every nook and cranny of my body. You've figured it out by now, haven't you, my dear? You'll never make it to me. It's not possible. But it's not your fault. It's not because you're weak. There's simply no one who can bear this pain. You're allowed to give up, to rest. There's nothing wrong with that. The pain, the crushing weight, it's miserable, isn't it? But all you have to do is turn back, and it'll all go away. The witch's whispers leave her sweet... Oh. The witch whispers her sweet temptations. You must fight through it. You've put in a fine effort. There's no shame at all in throwing in the towel. Her voice is soft, gentle, pleasant, saccharine. Concede defeat. If I do, it'll all go away. The searing pain spreading from the stump of my left arm. The sensation of being perpetually drained of my blood. The miserable solitude of staring at a door that never opens. The laughter I can hear through the window. My miserable wailing and this maddening hatred. I can end it all. That's right. It'll all be over. You have the power to make it stop. Make it all stop. Oh. No. I can't let that happen. No, I have to get her back at my side. I'll do anything to take her back. Even if it means I end up 1,000 tiny scraps of meat. I will not give up on her for any reason. Hee hee. You won't, will you? Oh, such beautiful resolve. Willing to sacrifice yourself to save the girl. Like a hero of legend. Or maybe a fairy tale prince. No, I am no hero and I am no prince. I am a human, an ordinary man. She said he. I don't have any extraordinary potential. I'm not a courageous leader or a charismatic general. I'm just a regular guy in love with a regular woman who refuses to lose her. I don't need any other accomplishments. Only that. That's all I need. Because I'm just a regular guy. My one... He said man. I don't know why. I inserted guy into the sentence. My one act of resistance. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter how much you cut me up. Nothing changes what I have to do. I have to take her back and set her free from this mansion. Nothing else. And never will I back down on that. Wow. Arms or no, as long as I can move, I must push forward. I must make my way to the woman who waited for me for so long. Up, to the top of the tower. Forward, ever onward. The door that she said, the door of Eld. Dragging my bloody body, paying the pain no mind. I once more arrive at the top of the observation tower. I place my hand on the door, holding myself up with my lacerated right arm. Take a moment to catch my breath. Then lift my head, gaze into the void, and shout her name. Morgana! I pity you, I truly do. You are a saint shackled with an unfathomable fate, fathomable fate. And for that, I am enraged. As I felt your pain, as I watched your life, I too felt a burning hatred for those three men. If you truly feel that way, then why can't you stay here with me? We're all dead anyway. We've reached our ends. Do you honestly think there's anything more for us? There isn't. The end is the end. So what do you say, the three of us, me, you, and Giselle, torture the three of them and everyone they cared about? Make them suffer here for all eternity, in this house. And that way, you and Giselle can be together forever too. It's not an option. Why not? Because hatred only brings you pain. Oh, that's brilliant. You spouting stupid platitudes at me. I can't believe my ears. Save your nonsense moralizing about how hatred does you no good. I won't hear it. I'm doing just fine for myself, my dear. In fact, I've never been better. I feel wonderful. Did you think that would be enough to persuade me? Really? How disappointing. And here I thought you understood me. Morgana. Why don't you say what you really think? Go right on ahead, hate them as much as you want, but keep me and Giselle out of it. Why didn't you just say that? I do be I want a quacker. Oh, oopsie. I want a Ritz cracker. I want a Ritz cracker, Morgana! The ones with peanut butter! Please! Give me a moment. Snack time, Morgana! He kinda has game, also. He's like... He might have the riz to save this situation, who knows? Oops. I gotta go to the bathroom. Dot dot dot. As I don't go to the bathroom. let me go, and then we'll continue. Morgana, get the sweet and sour sauce, Morgana! The sweet and sour sauce, not hot sauce! Morgana, listen to me, please! Okay, I'm going crazy. Let me BRB, go pee. Hello. My mom probably thinks I'm crazy, like screaming like a edgelord, and then laughing, like a little bit after. I'm also devilishly curious about what's behind this door. I wanna see what's behind it, and then that's the stream. I wanna see what's behind it, and then ba-da-ba. I do feel bad, truthfully. For all the time we spent together, never did I once ask about your life. Excuse me. But I was so focused on myself, and in the end, I pushed you away. That you did. You wanted to be with Giselle, so you pushed me out. I wish I'd asked you sooner. It wouldn't have changed anything, though. One puny man knowing what I went through would hardly be enough to erase the loathing I bear. It would have turned out the same regardless. There was nothing you could have done for me. There is nothing. Still, I would like to apologize. Had I known what you carried in your heart, perhaps I could have chosen my words better. Instead of rejecting you, I could have chosen some other response. I cannot remain in this house, nor can I allow her to stay either. So, I would like to apologize for both my past actions and my present. Well, in that case, open the door, Michelle. I take another moment to catch my breath, and then I gather my strength into the hand on the door. Blood seeps from my fingertips, slowly trickling down the rough surface. It reminds me of my death. I'm coming for you. Oh, I push open the door, praying that it'll be the last, that beyond it lies light for Giselle, and if possible, that it might cast a bit of light on Morgana's heart as well. What? However, why am I in my bedroom? I gently open the door. Oh no! What I find? This is that sentence. What I find beyond the door is the is behind. What I find behind the door is the last thing I expect. Aw. As she appears from the shadows of my chambers, I can't conceal my surprise. Giselle? Is this another illusion, Morgana? No, it's not. I am the real me. Thank you for coming all the way here for me. Ah, she's thanking me. So why isn't she smiling? That was very kind and courageous of you, Michelle. I'm deeply moved you would have such compassion not only for her, but for someone like me. But do you know what else you are? You're a worm. What is it this time, Morgana? What do you say we pull back the curtain, my dear? What curtain? There's one detail that hasn't yet come to light. This isn't your first return to the mansion, is it? You've been back numerous times, each time not remembering her, and each time hurting her even more. What are you talking about? What am I talking about? Oh, you know good and well, my dear. Or do you honestly believe that all of the other pieces were in their rightful places and you alone were some exception? I never... Tell me, how was it? Living in so many different eras, not knowing who you were, and playing with all the different men. No, you're out of your mind. You make it sound like I was... Not like, my dear. You are the white-haired girl. Wah! Wah! The plot twist! The biggest plot twist! This is the Fata Morgana! Wah! Enough! How could anyone possibly confuse me with her? I only have the same white hair and pale skin and red eyes. Michelle trans arc was real? Let's go. Trans rights. He can't believe it though. She can't believe it though. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. To tell you the truth, I couldn't see you as anyone else. Oh, I wonder why. Oh, that's why. Your white hair, red eyes, porcelain skin, and your name. Tell me, what about you isn't the same? We're not the same person. I'm edgy, I'm twisted, I'm cool. I saw the letter. What? The one you had hidden. No. And you didn't think that was worth mentioning? No, Giselle, I didn't mean... You're exactly right, my dear Giselle. He deceived you. He kept a very important secret from you. Despite showing up before you multiple times, he cast you aside again and again. No, no, that wasn't me. It wasn't... It all makes sense now. Nothing you ever did was for me. Giselle, I... Go on, Giselle. Tell him exactly how you feel. Michelle, please don't say it. Not that, please. I'm begging you. Stop. Please, don't, Giselle. Not actually. Please, don't say it. A man at all. Are you? Oh, oh, oh. Uh, uh, uh. You're disgusting. No, Giselle doesn't say trans rights. No, Giselle. No, it's real, but no, she thinks bad of him. Aww. uh, uh, uh. No. No, No, she's right though. There's no other way. No, that's what. No. No. Giselle is not our Yuri icon of the day. I thought the title screen would like be, that would be the twist, like, oh, you're a girl, but I love you still after all these. No. No. This is despair. This is the despair that the witch has given us. So if Michelle is the white-haired girl, also Michelle with an E, and he, or she rather, she wasn't aware of Giselle for every single heir. Like every reincarnation, she wasn't aware that she was even in the mansion, right? So it can't be Michelle's fault. That's what I'm thinking. Is this just like a torment? An eternal torment for someone who has wronged the witch? And if that's the case, is Michelle the nun? That would make sense because there's that really pretty CG where it's in front of the stained glass and Michelle is like all archangel-y looking, and he also has like a cape over him. So maybe bing 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 bing, maybe those two things are connected. Doctor. Play the boo-op sound. You're the only one it could have been, my dear. The only one who could have been the white-haired girl. The next moment... Oh, my whole world comes tumbling down. I could have borne anything. Losing my arm, having my face torn off. Any amount of pain, I could have handled it. For you, I could have done it. But this, hearing those words, coming from your mouth, being rejected by you, that I cannot. Those words, they bury me alive. And you're the one person I never wanted to hear them from. Aw. Despair. When I learned my father Antonin had passed, I wrote 2 letters. One to my brother, and one to my mother. It was the first time I had found the courage to face my mother, to open up to her. I wanted to show her who I was, convince her I wasn't cursed, so I could be myself when I returned to the capital with Giselle. Dear mother, there is something I wish to tell you, something that means a great deal to me, so I ask of you, please hear me out, and I ask of you, please accept it. Mother, I no longer bear any resentment for my present lot in life. Nevertheless, I would ask of you to concede one thing, that I was never cursed, that I was always your son, that I am Michelle, not Michelle. Oh, trans right. Ah, why is this their fate? I found someone whom I care for dearly, a woman, and I love her with all my heart. I would like to spend the rest of my life with her. I do not wish for much, simply to have a quiet life with her, to go through our days together, man and woman. That is the one thing I want. Mother, I know you're aware that my body is no longer female. I am a man. My heart is male, and I ask of you to please accept that. I have no grudge with you. In fact, I am incredibly grateful to you for bringing me into this world. With love, your dearest son. Ah, Michelle. Shortly after sending that letter, I was killed. Bro. All I can think of is some genuine person enjoying so much of the story, then getting to this point and rage quitting because they're a transphobe. I can imagine it. I can imagine it happening. Like, what is it? Why is he a girl? Or no? What would it? I don't know what a transphobe would say. Couldn't be me. Um, on honestly, they would be angry. They would be angry that it was like woke. They would be like, "Oh, what is this nonsense? Why did the story become like this? That's so out of left field." They would be so upset. Like they would be upset for that reason. Yeah. I had to think hard about what that would be like. Anyway, trans rights. Thumbs up. This is a great character. And it's a great story. And like it this this element being mixed with like the horrors of this the whole story, it's and it's deep too. I was gonna say it's good, it's interesting, but it's very deep too. Like I like the parallels especially, and how it comes together in the end, and the twist is good. They just say just tell the same story but not oh yeah, they would. They would be like, oh, they could just like not have that in the story, it would be cool without it. Ah, I'm dragged down against my will into the darkness. Beneath me spreads my own past. My door, the door I swore never to open. But despite all my efforts to resist, the door sucks me in. Into a world I never wanted to see again. A history I never wanted revealed. A past I never wanted anyone to see. Is there another door? Oh, I'm actually excited. Nonetheless, the door opens. Ah! Yay, cool, 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 cool. The truth, the truth, truth. 1086. Wow. There were two things out of the ordinary about that baby. The first, its parents embraced, and the second, they wholly rejected. Although, it was some time before the baby's second peculiarity emerged, and until it finally did, no one was any the wiser. Not even the child itself. Its mother surely enjoyed that brief period of happiness, before her child finally realized the truth, blind to the fact that the moment it had let out its first cry, everything came crashing down. To this day, she still doesn't know the child she gave birth to, that she set loose a curse upon the world, a curse that turned angels to demons, humans into witches. Interesting? My god, look at that. Oh, that wasn't him. She's beautiful, isn't she? Have you seen her laugh? Not yet, I haven't. At any rate, that color is certainly something else. God's gift to us. No, she's an angel sent from heaven. An angel? Ah, yes. I can see it now, Liddy. Her white hair and almost translucent skin, it's beautiful. My, she opened her eyes. Maybe she felt you nearby. Do you like your father more than me? Is that it, sweetheart? Gorgeous, aren't they? Such a deep, enchanting color, like two little jewels. Ah, that they are. A magnificent shade of red. I've never seen anything like it. And this is our child. She's special. I can feel it. We have to take good care of her. She needs a name, one that's just as special as her. Have you already chosen, Antonine? You were the one begging for a girl. You do it. Besides, I already had to rack my brain for the boys' names. Now it's your turn. Are you really going to let me? My, that's quite a lot of pressure. Name her after an angel, and... Oh, I like that. Alright then. We'll call her Michelle, after the Archangel Michael. You'll grow up to be You'll grow up to be beautiful as an angel, my Michelle. I've always wanted a little girl. Oh, that's the sentence. That's where the Are this game's devs adding chapters doors faster than you're reading them? No, I've just read them incredibly slowly. The game has been out and the game has been localized in several different languages at this point. I just took a long time. I just took a break. I took a long time. I took another break. It took a long time. But thumbs up. Oh, oh. With her snowy white hair, skin so pale you could see the veins beneath it, and her ruby red eyes. She was a very peculiar looking little girl, and her mother showered her with love. She truly believed her daughter was an angel sent from above, born as a human child. That blessed babe, born a girl, was given an angel's name. Michelle. Me. Mm. Checkmate. He looks like Jack from Final Fantasy Chaos. I see, that's what you did. Curses, I completely overlooked that. I thought you were advancing with your pawns, but that was all a diversion. You're too short-sighted, Didier. You need to look at the big picture. Sometimes it's the tactician and not the soldier holding the sword. You got me. You're quite good at this, Michelle. What inspired you to take such an aggressive strategy? It was not inspiration. It was derivation. 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 What did you say? Derivation. Chess is in many ways similar to real war tactics. Ah, my military texts. You haven't read all of them, have you? I have nothing but time. Impressive. Even I haven't read all the books in my room. You planning to join the order with that kind of knowledge? You jest. You're the one who's going to be a knight, Didier. Huh, that I am. War is the men's job, after all. War is the men's job. I want you to be there to welcome me home. Georges. Didier! Oh, Didier! I'm in a bit of a bind. Oh, hello there, Michelle. I didn't know you were home, Georges. Just got back, yep. Oh, ho, ho, playing chess again, are ya? Let's see, what do we have here? Get away from the board. Yikes, you got trounced, huh? And you call yourself her big brother? As if you're any better. That's not funny, Georges. I cannot approve of someone who can't keep up with the flow of battle becoming a knight. Given our family's rank, you would eventually be put in charge of other soldiers. What, are you worried about me? No, I'm saying... I've been blessed with such a caring sister. But fear not. I have a guardian angel, after all. Where's the logic in that? Sorry to interrupt your, moment, but... Does nobody listen to me? No, don't pout. So, what seems to be the problem, Georges? Yes, yes, listen to this. The royal court is holding a swordsmanship show, and for some reason I was selected to participate. How unfortunate for you. I can already see you on the ground sobbing. Hey, now, that's just mean. Besides, my hands were meant to hold a sword. Look at these dainty fingers. They're covered in calluses. Dainty calluses. Tell me, why would they have an artist sword fight? That's the whole point, I would think. No need to get so worked up. No one's expecting you to win. Maybe not, but we do have a name to worry about. And you know what that means, don't you? I'm going to lose. That's a given. But I want to do it in style. I feel bad for your sword. Oh, don't be like that. Now, come on, time's a-wasting. To the courtyard we go. Just so you know, if I train you, I'm going to train you right. All I want to know is how to look good. What is it, Michelle? May I watch? Fine with me, but you know you can't go outside. I'll be watching from the hall. I can open up one of the windows facing the courtyard. Still, you need to be careful. You can't spend too much time in the sun. I know. What? I had two older brothers. The eldest, Didier, belonged to an order of knights that served the church, and below him was Georges, who served as a court artist. He was, in all likelihood, who would inherit the family estate, as knights were not formally allowed to own property. Nevertheless, the Blanchet family was upheld by Didier. And then there was me, the youngest, the only daughter. Physically, I was not in particularly good health. Because of the color of my skin, I was hypersensitive to sunlight. I rarely left the estate. My world was contained entirely within these walls, and perhaps out of some sense of pity or compassion, my two brothers spent a good deal of time with me. Didier played chess with me, and Georges taught me how to draw. And among other things, they taught me how to read and write. For a girl, I was incredibly fortunate. The one thing I wasn't allowed to do, though, was hold a sword. While hardly anything unusual, it bothered me deeply, and it had for as long as I could remember. If I had been told I couldn't do it because I lacked the strength, I probably would have accepted it. But the reason given was not that I was weak, but that I was a girl. And with each passing year, that smoldering frustration in the back of my heart grew larger. Jump scare. Come on, put your back into it. Like I said, all I want to do is put on a good show. Oh, you'll put on quite a show, unless you learn how to swing that sword properly. Give me a break. Out in the garden, my two brothers traded swings bare-chested. All I could do, though, was observe from afar. And every time I found myself forced to watch, I felt a sharp pain, like a needle piercing my chest. A needle that seemed to be growing ever thicker. My mother and my brothers loved me dearly, but that didn't change the fact that the outside world lay beyond my reach. I was trapped in that estate by my own body. At first, I thought that was the root of my pain, but that answer seemed to contradict something inside me. Something I couldn't explain. Something I couldn't ignore, even as a child. So I searched within myself, trying to find an explanation for the constantly swelling sensation of wrongness inside me. Day after day, I gazed into the cavern of my own heart. My, now what are the two of them doing out there? Georges was asked to do a swordsmanship show at the royal court, so Didier's helping him. Swordsmanship? Oh, I just can't stand those shows. Blades are so dangerous. I can't watch people swinging them at each other. Why don't you come back to your room with me, Michelle? I would love to teach you how to sew. But, Mom, I want to watch them practice. Michelle? First of all, you need to watch how you speak, young lady. You do not call me Mom, you call me Mother. This is what happens when you spend so much time around boys. As your mother, I don't approve of you playing chess or making art. A woman has no need for such skills. They will only make you look insolent. But I want you to grow up to be a respectable woman. That is my job and my dream as your mother. Now, come. I would rather you looked at some fine embroidery with me than a couple of sweaty men. Yes, Mother. You are my little girl, after all. Lydia, bitch. Yeah. Any mom who has specific requirements on how she's referred to as a mom is not a good mom, yeah. Can you imagine? You will call me Mother, not Mom. And you will get to bed by 8 p.m. and you will eat my broccoli casserole that I made specifically for you and your diet, young lady. A respectable woman who can't play chess or sword fight. Hell world, hell world. I know. Women are so cool. Women are so... My sister calls my mom mommy and I call her mom and no fuss is made. Yeah, you have free will to call your mom whatever you want as long as it's not in a bad tone. or like bad, you know. I detest children who call their moms like actual bad words. Like say, "Oh, my mom's such a bitch," or like to their friends. That's so horrible. I would hate that. Phew, they anyway. Spending time with my mother was agonizing. Was it because her world was so isolated? No, that wasn't it. Her gentle voice, the sweet scent of her perfume, the way she constantly told me how much she loved me, and her diatribes about how wonderful it was to be a girl. Everything she did put so much pressure on me. But above all, she loved to say, "You are my little girl, after all." And there was nothing strange about that at all. Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw the daughter of a noble. That was who I was. So the only thing wrong was how I felt. But every time I was faced with the reality of who I was, my heart wavered. I had no interest in learning to embroider. I didn't understand why that was necessary. I knew what purpose it served. Everything she taught me I would need when I was wed off to some noble boy, and it was my responsibility to learn those things. It didn't feel right, though. I couldn't even accept the fact that one day I would be married. Let's go, let's go. I'm loving the. I can feel the representation. I can feel like the kindred feeling you can get. The rel the re yeah, representation, like when you relate with something. It was but an ominous shadow lurking in my future. I would have preferred ravaging the books in Didier's room than having a conversation with my mother. Tales of heroes of old and dauntless soldiers. Military texts written by tacticians in the midst of war. Thinking about them set my heart aflutter, and made me think about my brother. He was training to be a knight. I envisioned armor flecked with rust, a long sword glimmering with the blood of savages. Soon, I found myself in my fantasies, imagining how the sword would feel in my hands, the sensation of the hilt beneath my fingers, swinging it gallantly, like my brother. How heavy was it? How much muscle would I need to carry it? How much impact would I feel in my hands when I struck something? How restricted would my vision be wearing a helmet? How much did it weigh? How hot was it inside? I had no way of answering any of those questions, though. Ah, kill me now! I have some cloth, if you'd like to wipe yourself off. Oh, yeah, thanks. Ugh, I'm so dead. You were at it for a long time. I've never known Dee to half-ass something once he gets started. Which, I guess was made above... Which, I guess is what makes him knight material, but... Are you opposed to him becoming a knight? Well, you know, I kind of assumed he'd inherit the estate and handle taking care of everything. So it's like, why's he gotta go and be some priest's whipping boy? Don't tell him I said that, though. He wants to fight for the greater good. I don't know. Despite the name, he wouldn't be doing much fighting himself. Anywho, someone as passionate as him might be able to make changes for the better. Changes? He knows what condition the Order is in. That's why he's joining. Figure he wants to whip him into shape, melt him down, and reforge the whole thing. Huh. So, he might be able to change things. What? What are you muttering about, Michelle? Hey, hold it! The pain I felt in my chest when I smelled the sweat emanating from Georges' body, when I looked at his slender but distinctly male build, I was convinced it was admiration. Did I want to become a knight too? Oh, missed the mark. Maybe the discomfort I felt was because I wanted to be like him? Would it all go away if he were able to change the rules and I could join the Order as well? I was positive it would. You don't just want to join the Order! Didier! Michelle! Hold on. You can't come barging into my room unannounced. I'm trying to change. We need to talk. I said stop. You're a girl. You can't just walk in on a man as he's changing. I see no reason for you to be so self-conscious. Listen to me, Michelle. Georges tells me you're planning to overhaul the order. He told you that? No, I hardly have such grand aspirations. Don't be coy. I believe you have what it takes to do it, Didier. What's gotten into you? You're unusually fiery today. So I want to ask you a favor. When you have enough influence in the order, I would like you to make me a knight too. You what? I'm tired of the way Mother treats me, always saying I can't do this or that because I'm a girl. I want to learn how to swing a sword. I don't want to do embroidery. I don't care about jewelry or fancy clothing. Michelle, what's gotten into you? I'm so much more interested in the world you live in, Didier. So please. Well, I'll be. I suppose we must have let ourselves spend too much time with you. Not you too. That's exactly what Mother said. First of all, Michelle, you don't have the strength to hold a sword. Then I'll train until I do. And if that doesn't work, I still have my mind. You know good and well I could... People are not chess pieces, Michelle. But Didier... But above all, you're missing the most important point. I will not, for any reason, become the kind of man who makes a woman take up a sword. Didier, this may seem normal to you growing up with two brothers, but I want you to listen to me, Michelle. Men and women walk different paths. Men wield swords and fight against dangerous enemies, and they do so to protect the weak, women, and children. I am here to protect you and your mother. You're no different than her. You don't treat me any different than her. Honestly, what's gotten into you, Michelle? Why wouldn't I treat you like a daughter of the Bollinger estate? Your brother and I, we never meant to make you think. Forget it. What? I'm sorry. I knew what I was asking for was foolish. Oh? But I thought you would understand how I feel. Even just a little bit. But what was I expecting him to understand? Alright, I'm tearing off his dick. No! Fuck this dude. You tear off all the dicks of people you don't like, I see. Even I didn't understand the things I felt. I wanted to know what had gone into me far more than he did. What I had done was no better than throw a temper tantrum. Was I that desperate to become a knight? No. I just thought that the key to the chains in my heart lay down that road, but ultimately there was nothing. Assuming Didier had agreed, and assuming I did become a knight, it wouldn't do anything for the core problem. As I dashed from my brother's room, I snuck a peek at him. His face was filled with an intense perplexity. And how could I blame him? I tried to push a duffer? Listen, they deserve it. Yeah, they're being incredibly bad. Well, yeah. I tried to push a dozen different ideals onto him all at once. Filled myself with the vain hope that he would somehow be able to make sense of me when I couldn't even make sense of myself. And now, bubbling with unwarranted anger at being let down, I fled to my own chambers. Excuse me. I can only imagine how frustrating that must have been for him. Hey, excuse me. I think this is a good stopping point. We're getting into it. This is getting really interesting now. I saw... I don't know why I didn't put it together that Michelle and Michelle like were real the same person. Like not just a Fata Morgana illusion. Like no. It's just... And especially after the twisting the truth thing with Giselle's door. Why wouldn't it be the same for Michelle? He's just as fucked up. She's just as fucked up. The plot damn well thickens. That it does. We'll find out more next time. Bing bong. Oh, bing. Now for a little free chat. A little unwinding after all that. Pretty good. I like it a lot. I mean, that hasn't changed from, like, every single time. I still like it a lot. Why didn't it work? Why didn't it work? What's wrong? Everything is right. What happened? It's not connected to Twitch chat. Oh, wait. Work. Why is it not connected to Twitch chat? Did my token die? It expired. My token expired. Connect to Twitch? Please renew it in Twitch connections. Yeah? How do I do that? What if I revoke the token and then connect it? Uh-oh. Does it work now? Why? Oh, it did. Hi guys, welcome. No, it totally worked. It's dark mode now. No, no, that's not what I mean. Life, death, life, death, life, death, life, death. Okay, we're chilling. Fatal Morgana, Fatal Morgana. We did it. Oops. Ding dong, flashbang button. I mean, only if you're like a full screen, which I don't imagine people are. Unless you're like crazy. I made myself too tall. Or you have a big monitor. Mine are fairly small, so it's not too much of an effect. Fate Morgana is good. I think next time I don't think we're going to finish. Realistically, every time I say next time's the end, it's not. So there are 2 more Fata Morgana streams, let's say. And I suppose I'm thinking if I do want to take it easy, I could just stream on Wednesday and Friday instead of making my but that's another schedule change. Oh, detested. But I did it today. Oh, horrible. The most inconsistent streamer in the world. No, I was thinking like yesterday. Man, I went from being a night owl to like progressively getting earlier. Like latest stream 5 a.m., latest stream 3 a.m., latest stream 12 p.m., a.m., p.m., a.m., latest stream 10, and now I'm latest stream 7:30. Fata Morgana too good to end? That's true. I think this will be a series forever. I think I'll stream this game forever and ever. Amen. Oh, speaking of Amen. Oh, also hi Paladin. Also speaking of Amen, uh it's cool. I like its themes of like religion too. That also like swirls good with the trans rights themes. Gotta get monitor big enough to plant face into your face? Face plant into... Generally, any monitor is big enough to do that, right? Even phone? Next time, about to bring in Morgana's sister. Oh no. Wait, wait. Oh no. No, no. Fixing your sleep schedule is good though, I think. Yeah, I've been sleeping like relatively fine now. I didn't like I survived late night streams, but I think living healthier, living a normal society based life, you wake up at a time and you sleep at a time. And those are reasonable times. Like near 12 or near 1. Who's to, you know, it's okay. I think sleeping. Oh, you'll be proud to know also, Paladin, I took a nap before stream today. It was heaven sent. I woke up on my own terms. Blessed be. What is truly a fixed sleep schedule? You know, I'm starting to think it's a myth now that you say that. I thought I tried to like word it out and be like, oh yeah, it's helpful to wake up at this time and this time, but realistically, I don't do shit in the afternoons. I feel so unproductive in the afternoons, but I think that's just who I am. I think like in the evening is my gamer time, my prime time. This will just be like AOT final part 3. Like it just keeps getting more and more parts to the final part. Oh lord, is that how they wrote it? Oh god. I don't know anything about AOT, but I've been watching a lot of anime recently. Uh, I watched, I'm on the last part of Mob Psycho. I just finished the they got abducted by aliens part, which I didn't expect to be in there. Um, I'm on season 4 of My Hero Macadamia. Uh, My Hero is really good. I don't know why My Hero has so many haters. It's really nice. Um, and I'm currently watching like a bunch, but like on and off. Like Hell's Paradise, it's okay. Based Hero Academia, let's go. Oh, who's your favorite girl and boys? Boys and girl. Who's your favorites? Period. I really like My Hero. I like it too. I like it a lot. The newest season is actually so good. I'm excited. I can't wait to get to it. There are issues I have with the story, but it's a great manga. Yeah, the only complaint that I see on like Twitter is like people say the author doesn't know how to write, but um I'm 4 seasons in. I think he knows how to write. I think it's pretty good. The MHA anime is silly fun. Do not read the manga. Okay. Okay. Oh 07, I gotcha. Finna deku myself. Ooh, nice. I like how realistic his progression is. I really like it. Like his ass horrible at the start. Finger flick, break the finger. But then do you remember the part in season 4 where he goes through his progression in like 6 steps? That's a really good illustration of his arc. Like the fact that it's not like I get power, I get power, I get power, I get better, I get better, I get better. It's like so incremental. My man leveled up like 5% to 8% and I was like, "Damn." You know, that's true. That's true. I like that. Miracle favorite girl, Million Man best boy. Ooh. I oh, the Million's thing is so good. It's ooh. That was a teary episode. Oh, and when oh, I teared up when Glasses Man was talking with them. Man, that was such a good scene. I that hit. I haven't run into Miracle yet though, but I know very well what she looks like. Let me tell you, I know every detail. I stopped at season 2, but Todoroki goes hard. I like how okay, I have so many thoughts. I like how everyone's name is kind of a pun. And I like how Shoto's is literally Shoto. Like, oh, he's the pro tag boy. He's the Ryu of the series. He's the Shoto. But I like how they noted that it was like, oh, he's like the main character. That's so interesting because Deku's the one we're following, but yeah, everyone feels like the main character, which is great. Not everyone, but a lot of them feel like the main character, which is great. I saw the first season and enjoyed it. Good. I recommend watching more. Yeah, cuz you get you get characterization for a lot of the other ones, and I have a lot of favorites. I don't know why, but the characters tickle me in a delicious way. Sorry for the wording, but I I like never before have I watched a show where I like multiple guys and I like multiple girls. You know, even I like the guys more than the girls. That's so rare. That is very rare. I think my favorite thing is the world building. It's such a good analysis of how heroes and superpowers would actually work in a realistic world without making it all fucked up like The Boys. I haven't seen The Boys, but I heard it was good. But I agree. I like the parts where they get more in depth about like the government and stuff, like boringly enough, because yeah, it would make sense that when you are suddenly collectively mutated, that you don't have many laws about it yet, so everything is like fucked up for a while, and then they start putting laws in. I thought it wasn't like explicitly mentioned that that's what happened, but it can be assumed from the texts. I feel like if we knew Japanese, then all the hero names would feel like just. That's what I was thinking too. Oh, same brain. That's what I was thinking too. I was thinking. My thought was, do you think there are like Japanese 4chaners who are like, man, the fucking naming conventions for Western superheroes are lame, guys. Really? You know what reverse flash means? It just means backwards flash in Japanese. Parentheses in Japanese. That's just lame as fuck. Why would they name him that? Green Lantern? That's just what he does. Batman? This is the worst. This is the worst naming convention I've ever. And then you look at my hero. Green. Pickle. My hero does a good job of making you feel like every character, making you like every character except Sugar Rush. Is he the one who bakes? He hasn't gotten too much yet. Or maybe you personally just dislike him. Now, hear me out. Mineto's pretty funny sometimes. I think his hate is so... Oh, I hate Aoyama. I hate Aoyama. I hate Aoyama. I've never... If I like a lot, that means I'm bound to dislike a character. At least one. Aoyama is my detested. My personal detested. Mineta's fine. Sometimes a little horny creature. Okay, haha. Boobies, funny. You know, sometimes you do like boobies. You know, relatable. He just like me for real. What's wrong with Shining Boy? Mineta's fine. This is my... You're going to disagree with me, I know. But this is my, deranged take. I like that one, I dislike that one. He's so... Uh, he's just European, I know, but... I don't... I'm not gonna say I don't like it. I just don't find his character appealing, and even worse, like... the one who trumps Aoyama is that one stupid, like, the bastard who keeps bragging about Class B, and like detesting Class A. I wish he would shut the fuck up. I wish he had more to his character than being a fucking Class B bitch, you know? Aoyama's okay. He's just okay, I get. Maybe that's my gripe. Like, he's just okay. He could be something more. And it's different from Sugar Rush, I assume, is his name, because like they didn't do anything with this character yet. But Aoyama's moment was just like, I relate with you. My powers don't fit my body too. Have some cheese. And that's it. That's all you get. That's like, shut up. Don't waste my time. Not really, but I just don't feel particularly good whenever he has a moment. The student in class who always wants to be looked at, I don't like. I'm the opposite. I do not want to be looked at. Maybe that's why. Personally, I wish Uraraka was better. She's not awful, but I do wish she was more complex. Ah, yeah, that too. Oh, also Aoyama's moment. Well, I assume that's his moment. He had the one. They're like two small ones before I get into Uraraka. There was the one in the school, the big license exam where he was with Ida, and he was like, "I'll do this for you," and then he shoots a beam in there and then attracts people, and that there is that thumbs up. it wasn't it wasn't impactful to me. I guess it means a lot to him, but to me, nah. And then the other one was him relating with Deku. The aforementioned, the whole cheese on balcony thing, and like trying, yeah, relating with him. He has two so far. For 4 seasons, he has two moments. Uraraka, on the other hand, yeah, I feel that. I feel that they had something good with the. I'll be putting myself. How do I? As an Asian young lady who has the mental of I need to support my parents. That's a relatable plotline, you know? I'm sure there are plenty of people who feel like that. I mean, yeah, I know there are plenty of people who feel like that. um Horikoshi also forgot. I think he forgot about that plot, that work for parents plot, be a hero for that reason plot line, and Sugar Boy. I see that he doesn't get anything until the current, which is sad. Urararararararararararara gets in the way of my Deku X Bakugo TP. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Oh wait. Usually, okay, I'm about the romance thing. Usually I'm very like, oh, my detested whenever they put like 4 ships in. Cause I don't like romance where it's just like, oh, obviously she's the girl, obviously he's the boy. They have to like each other. It's like such an annoyance, honestly. And the same goes for like movies and other media and stuff. When you watch a movie and like Adam Sandler is in front of Sandra Bullock, you're like, okay, it's a fucking romance movie. God, they're gonna be together by the end because that's how these things work all the time, always. It's always boy and girl are love. It's nothing else. They can't be friends. They can't respect each other. It's nothing else. But I will say, the way they handle Deku and Uraraka, I respect. It is still like that a little bit, but I respect that there was a solid build up. Like, at first, she also just like was his friend and respected him too, and I was good. I was good with that only. Like, if it was like that for the whole thing, that cool. Neat. But I think maybe what related to me or what I found appealing was that it was a sudden realization for her. Like the sudden feeling or the denial that you get, I guess, when you're like, no, I don't like him. Keeps looking at him. I don't like him. And then and then I don't know if she's accepted it yet, is the thing. I think she's still like, for me, where I am at, where I'm at right now. I think she's still like, yeah, I admire him. And then dot 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 something else, you know? Nara Shoku? Who? 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 Oh, Shoto and Deku. Oh my god. No. Stop shipping the boy. It's a why? You guys are going crazy. Stop shipping in my chat. What was I going to say? I think I liked their dynamic for how it wasn't just a sudden, oh, she likes him now. At least there was like a, oh, interesting feelings I'm getting. But I still don't like how they make her jealous when Toga's around, or they make her jealous when other women are talking to Deku. Like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see no romance. No romance allowed. Be friends. But you know what I mean. Not that extreme, but you know what I mean. It's like a slight. You didn't have to remind me. It's fine. You could just leave that alone. Forget about that, Horikoshi. The art is incredible. Oh, I haven't seen like any panels or anything, to be honest. But I hope I see some around. Fuck the Deku and Uraraka ship. I'm shipping Deku to Madagascar. Huh? What? I think. Oh, I didn't say who I like actually. For the boys, damn, it's kind of hard to pick, but Denki is really good. Denki is not like as prominent as a character, I'm aware. But damn, the time when he used his new weapon and then he shot at the meatball man. Oh, he's so cool. Oh my god, my little creature is so cool. My idiot man is so cool. I also like damn. Damn, Kirishima? Damn. The raid thing. The raid thing. He had his moment. Oh, damn. Meatball man. I'm right. I'm right. um damn, Kirishima's so cool. Kirishima's so cool. I like how he faces life head on. Yeah, fuck it up. He's a real man. He loves Kirishima. Oh, that's good. I love Kirishima too. Good for me. um Denki Kirishima are the first one that comes to mind. Uh I guess like man, a lot of the boys are okay. This tier is I like I like these boys because they're cool. And they're cool. Like Todoroki is cool. Deku, Bakugo. Do I like Bakugo? Not really. At the moment, I don't like Bakugo, but I know he's a slow burn. He's a slow burn into being uh likable. He's growing actively. Tier list stream when? Maybe when I finish. So that way there's like everything so far. Uh Todoroki, Deku, Tokoyami. Damn, Tokoyami's cool. Damn, when everyone like upgraded their powers and Tokoyami had the fucking abyssal black veil or whatever he called it, that was so cool. um uh, now that I can't remember any other boys, bro. Let me look at the oh, but that's dangerous. I don't want to spoil myself in any way, so I won't. That's all I can think of off the top of my head for the boys. Remember when Suyu was real damn popular? Oh, I thought you meant like on Twitter. Like she got her own episode? Oh yeah, yeah. She had her own like work study episode thing. Yeah. Froggy. Froppy. She's good. She's nice. I didn't expect her to be like a mom character though. Like the mom of the friend group. I expected her to be silly. But you know, still respectable. She's very mature as a character. She's very cute. She's very cute. For the girls, let me think. What was my mega tier? I don't think I have like a mega tier for the girl. No, Hatsume Mei. Hatsume Mei. She's fun. She's so fun. No one expects the mama frog. I know. She got me. And hey, we love a girl who bluffs. She's just colon and then greater than symbol. Yeah. I guess it was because she's the older sister to like five. Ah, yeah, that makes sense. She's the responsible one. Uh, girls. I mean, I don't have like a mega like tier, but girls that I think are cool, Jiro. Um, girls that I think are cute, Froppy. Vlog. Um, I'm trying to think. I do like Yao Momo. Uh, who are the girls? Oh my god, who are all of the girls? Who are all of the girls? Damn. There were multiple episodes where they were like, this is the entirety of Class A, and they go one by one through every 20 people. There were like at least 3 episodes like that. But it had no effect on me. I can only name 7. I can't remember. Oh, my brain, I can't remember. The bitch thing about my brain is that I will feel so hard in the moment for a character. And it's moments like this where I'm like, damn, who do I like again? I completely forgot. Who am I absolutely in love with again? I like the pink girl. I don't remember anyone's names. I watched like 4 years ago. Oh, Ashido Mina. Yeah, she's. What would I put her in? Cute or cool? I think I think Ashido. I think Mina is a cute. I think she's cute. Like she's not a oh cool. She's cute. And that's like slightly under cool. Do you want to look up my hero characters or okay, my hero girls. Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me anything else. Oh, okay. I think there are only 6 girls. I'm looking at the ending image. I forgot about my boy Ida. I like Ida. I like Ida a lot. What did I say? I forgot about my fucking blue glasses boy. I love Ida. Ida is so silly sometimes. And he's a good boy. He's just a good boy. And I think the multi-arms guy is also in the cool tier. I wish he had more. I hope he gets his moment. Because I want to see what he's about. And that's it for my soft tier list of characters. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of like romance stuff, I like how Jiro and Denki are friends. Like I like that dynamic so much. I love that it's not anything else. That's so good. Perfect. Mwah. And I found it especially cute how there was this one moment where Denki, I think, used up too much of his energy and he became stupid. And Jiro was like laughing her ass off. Everyone was just like laughing normally, but Jiro was fucking losing it, and I thought that was really cute. That's friendship, baby. Let me open up Twitch.tv now. That's enough for my ramblings. Later tonight, I will watch more, and it will be good. Um, 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 um. Let's see. How about Twitch? Damn, someone out there with their motorcycle. Stop that. How about ping pong, 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 ping pong. You can tell I'm not focused. You can tell I'm not focused on choosing a person and I'm looking at twitch.tv. Let me peruse real quick. What if I looked at the VTuber tag? Would that be crazy? Would that be wild? Or maybe I could just decide. That would be even crazier. That would be like a really insane. Anyway. Anyway, I'm going to decide now. VTuber? No thanks. Rate yourself into no. Oh god, please. I had a hard enough time waking up from 3:30 to 4 p.m. to get up to stream. Why is it so hard to decide? Why am I having a hard time? Eeny meeny. My mom said to pick the best one and you are it. Whoa. Interesting. It is. Oh, they just started the stream. Or they're taking a break. I think they're taking a break, but they don't have a BRB screen. But we're gonna read Hamflow. They're playing Wind Waker, which is the game of all time. Wind Waker, I never played, but I have good memories because I watched like playthroughs of it. It's quite a childhood game, but by proxy. Uh, I'm sure people have those, right? Like they just watch playthroughs of it, but they consider it nostalgic. Is there something on my screen? Do you see that thing? Do you see that thing that's on the notepad? What is that? Do you... Wait. Surely you see it. Hold on. Where's the up arrow? This one. Do you see that thing? What is that? Oh, it's not straight. Ominous line. What is that? Wait. That needs to be fixed. What is that? What is... I can't find what that is. Sound alerts? No. Chat big. No. Background music, trigger fire? VTube? Slimes? No. VTube? VTube! What is that? Who put that there? There's like a micro pixel of something there. Oh, that bothered me so much. I, I, I could have sworn that had never existed before, and I was like, oh, surely that's just like a speck on my screen. But then I wiggled the window, as you do. Strange, strange. Um. Anywho, Hamflo raid time. The hammers. Raid. Thank you for joining me. I'll do my best on Friday. Oh, 07. If I have food art to draw, we'll draw it. Yay! Thank you for being here. Okay, bye streamer. Okay, bye streamer. Anything else? Do you have any last words? My last words. My last words. I appreciate you. My last word is finish typing. Finish typing! Please, we're running out of time. Finish! Hurry! Okay. Bye bye.